Hopefully my bitrate won't go crazy this time.
And highest stream.
Shaking my damn head.
Oh, new chapter of Don today. Have you hopped onto the Don hype train yet? Listen, you may hear people say things like, this show is balls. It does not mean what you think it means. It's really good, I swear.
Mm-hmm.
We did actually go out to the that first 3 episodes. I forget if we did that before the last time we streamed, or it was right before we did it, but man, it looks so good. I'm so excited.
Happy for you? Question mark?
And the manga is that good, so I highly recommend you read it.
Which one's ended in? It's
every single ghost story and every single alien story is all real at once.
Okay. Yeah, so you're talking about
it. Also, an old woman bites his penis.
Sound a lot like Golden Kamui over here. You still never checked out? Sad.
No. It's literally on the app. I could. Oh wait, no. I'd have to read it on the web browser.
Golden Kamui's fucked up. It's not like fucked up like horrid, but like like okay. There's some chapters that I remember not fondly. Like I'm like, why did they do that? For
a while there on my feed, I was getting a lot of Golden Kamui Yaoi art.
Oh, I mean the characters in Kamui, like they're fantastic. They deserve the Yaoi fan art and then some. Is all I'll say. The characters are like very well written, well executed. It's one of those stories at the end where like all of the characters are coming together to fight, and you're like, I hope nobody dies. You know, it's like. It's crazy.
Can't really say that for Juju. I mean, there was really only 2 I was hoping that would die, but...
I mean, did you see the end of Juju? Did you see the final chapter?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
It's real...
It was so... Alright.
It was okay.
Fine.
It was a bold stylistic choice to flip the audience off in the final panel, but...
Wait, what? Were we getting flipped up? Is that real?
Did you not see the final panel?
Let me look at the final panel again. I didn't...
I remember.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, it's okay. I saw a lot of complaints that like there were no funerals of the characters that that died, and that's the point. I don't think people realize. So the characters that died, we had one that was like an ancient dickhead sorcerer who nobody cared about.
Yeah.
We had one who was Chozo, who it would have been nice to see him get like a funeral of some sort, to like see him die as a human when the whole time he was kind of like a curse. It would have been nice to see like that kind of like dichotomy, but at the same time, the only person that really cared for him was Yuji. And then we had Gojo, who also the only person who really cared for him was Yuji. That's kind of the whole point.
I don't know about
that. That's kind of the whole point of Gojo's characters, that everybody saw him more as like this, essentially a sorcerer nuke than as an actual friend most of the time. Like, most of the characters did not like Gojo.
Yeah, I think like Also, like, we already got their closure, so, like, complaining about, like, the closure in, like, the moments they died, so it's kind of weird to complain
Right.
that you don't get a
And the
Viking
closure is more
funeral
for
for
the
them.
characters that are still around, but yet again, a lot of the characters don't like Gojo. Like, I think that's kind of might be part of the point of why we didn't see like a big send off for Gojo. Like all the characters gone, oh Gojo, we miss you, like blah blah blah, is because part of the point is that like he wants to make a point that like Gojo wasn't seen as like a friend to these people. He was seen as like almost like a lot of these guys like considered him like a necessary evil to have around. Like a lot of these people did not
Yeah.
like Gojo. And so,
Yeah, and,
him not
like,
having a
probably, yeah,
funeral
and
is
really the only... Yeah, and the only real exceptions are some of his students.
yeah, it's really his students that are the only ones that
And
care. Like,
Shoko. But even then, he's been barely giving her the time of day for, like, the past 30 years, so... Or
so,
however many it was.
so it's like, I kind of like that they didn't have like a big send off for him because it felt appropriate to me. Where it's like, even the sorcerers that you think are more kind, like the point of the series is that sorcerers are kind of like they're fucked up, you know, they're a little screwed up in the head. So it's like the fact that a lot of them aren't normal isn't like a plot hole.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was funny to be seeing like why are there no funerals? It's because the people that died didn't warrant a funeral. Like either nobody cared.
That's
for
also,
them
why
or
are you... I don't know. The complaining about a funeral seems really weird. I know that, like, my wife has been kind of checked out of it. She didn't really like the past 30 or so chapters.
Yeah. And I saw people like posting the images of like the panels of Toto in like way back when Nanami died and we thought Nobara was dead, more or less. Where Toto basically told Yuji like, we're sorcerers, we can't spend the time to like be having like mourning their deaths. We have to move on, essentially. And people are using that as like, oh, see, they're just moving on. Like it's like, I don't agree with that point specifically because the story's over. Like we've vanquished the great evil of Sakura. It's like you should have times for your characters to like relax and chill out and stuff, but also at the same time, they don't need like a big funeral moment.
Yeah.
Like there's I definitely feel like dedicating one of the final 3 chapters to explaining how simple domain work was a little crazy. I don't know if I read that and was laughing the whole
Okay,
time.
okay. See, so I was so here for that because to me, that was kind of a rule of threes on what was it? That was kind of like that was the like kind of like the rule of three, like what am I trying to say here? Like the kind of like last like the bringing up the one more time, the how important it was to like call all the awful old people.
That part of it was fine. Like the random old person that existed that wasn't brought up in the story, I guess, it was fine. It was whatever. That I didn't have.
Oh, see, I love that part.
That was like a haha tee, whatever. And the part that I was laughing at was over like half the chapter was just dedicated to him explaining the rules of what a simple domain is and like how it. And I'm like, we're 2 chapters off the end of the series. We don't need this right now. Like.
Oh, man, I was so here for it. That chapter there may be one of my favorites in the series. It was so funny.
Me laugh so hard. I could not believe. I thought they were just gonna like have like a panel or two and be like, "Yeah, here's how simple domains kind of work," and it was like, oh, "Okay, yeah, okay." Like just like a one-off thing, and then they're gonna continue with like the characters having their moments. But no, it's just like the whole chapter. I was laughing so hard every time. This was very funny. But I kind of like the ending of them going back to like doing just doing a job. They're back
doing like yeah, they just did like a small scale job.
Yeah. I like that aspect of it. I don't think it was horrid like a lot of people online are like, why is there no character closure for all these characters? It's like we didn't need a bunch of character closure. We got the panels of them like looking and smiling with their friends, and that's all you need really.
Yeah, like I think the ending was incredibly competent. For Like, there is some part of me that is, like, disappointed because it's like, for a series that one of the biggest parts about it for me was just how consistently surprising and uh like throw you off the scent it is for a lot of it. Like, to have an ending that's so simple is like maybe a little disappointing, but at the same time, like, it was a good ending. He's allowed to have a happy ending.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
and I don't think that us saying the ending isn't bad isn't us saying the ending couldn't be like better. Definitely could have been better. I think they could have like executed on some really nice like I said character moments where it was like they just did a couple of things with some characters, but they didn't, and they didn't need to though. Like that's the thing. It's like it's a serviceable ending. It's not an ending that I'm going to be like writing of in the future, being like, "Oh, this was such a great ending." Like, it is a serviceable ending. It does what it needs to do. It gets out. And at this point, I feel like that's what Gage wants to do. He wants to be done with the series. So
Yeah.
credit to him for not doing a My Hero Academia is all I can say. So
Yeah. I'm glad it ended where it did. I personally am pretty much okay with it. I maybe could have done a bit more ambitious at the end, but at the same time, like everything that it did, I think it was executed on very well.
definitely could have been more ambitious, but I feel like Gage wants to move on, and I'm happy for him. I'm excited to see what he does next.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. And like people are comparing it to like My Hero, of course, which I think has a horrible ending, an absolutely horrid ending. Or Attack on Titan, which I think has a better ending than a lot of people online think. Not specifically.
If only it had a good middle.
I think the middle drags a bit on Attack on Titan, and people don't talk about that a lot. But yeah, I think.
I'm kidding. I just dropped out of Attack on Titan
No,
because it was just not the show for
I think
me.
the middle drags a lot, especially in that part where they're in the basement. Dude, that basement section is so fucking boring in the manga. In the anime, it's a bit better. Here's what I'll say about Attack on Titan: the anime fixes it a lot, including the ending. The ending had some like literally atrocious lines in the manga that are just like, why would you write that? That were fixed in the anime. So I'll give them that credit for at least realizing it. Uh, but yeah, no, I think like a lot of what people talk about it with Attack on Titan is like they did like a 180 on some of the characters, or like they did stuff that doesn't make sense. But like if you read the story, it's not true. It just feels weird to me that some of the opinions I see online, but that's just how it be. Speaking of opinions you see online,
That's just having. That's just having.
well, speaking of opinions you see online, TikTok has been getting angry recently with the return of Hunter x Hunter. They've been getting mad. TikTok stands getting angry and riling up each other about the fact that Kurapika is the main character and not Gon anymore, which I found kind of interesting.
That's so funny. They're like, what?
Yeah, they were very
No.
angry. They're like riling people up and like, it's shit now because Gon isn't the protagonist. And I was like,
And it's
damn,
like,
this is
buddy,
really a
you were like,
thing.
how many years later are they? 5 years? 10 years?
Yeah, I was laughing because people were bringing up that TikTok had that trend of like bashing on Hunter x Hunter right now. I was like, what? Because Kurapika's the protagonist.
That's so funny. That is
Uh,
hysterical.
but with that transition, we move into Hunter x Hunter talk. Oh boy! Wow.
All right, yeah. So I have 5 Hunter x Hunter theories.
Okay, let me see how many I wrote. I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I also wrote my predictions for deaths as like a separate thing.
Okay. So I have 5 theories. Some of them are more serious than others.
Yeah, same.
So I'll say let's go back and forth. Like you do one, I do one.
Okay, I'll start since I have a couple
And then
more.
Yeah.
So I'll start. What do I want to start with? Oh, okay. I'll start with one that I think is kind of lukewarm, and I don't know if it's going to be touched upon yet, but I feel like this is true. Hisoka and Illumi have already met. So I feel like I don't know if it's going to be touched upon within these 20 or 30 chapters. Oh, I forgot to tell you that he released a tweet saying the plan is to complete 430 by the end of this year. So that's exciting.
Oh, that is so exciting.
But so by the end of these 20 or 30 or however many we get till we get to the next break, if we even get to the next break at this point, I don't even know. I believe that it's going to be revealed in a flashback that Illumi and maybe Kalito even was with him, met with Hisoka already while they were on the third layer, because that's where Hisoka was as well, right? And they're going to have a little bit of a chat. Not sure what it was about. Not sure what it's going to be about, but like I believe that at some point in the future that's going to be revealed to everyone.
You know what? I 100% agree there. I think that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's kind
and
of
is like a fan
prediction from me. I feel like that one's a safe
yeah.
lock.
Yeah. All right, so let's do my first prediction. I predict that we will see Doan. We will see Doan in the very next chapter we get.
I don't know if in the next chapter, but I do think it's fair to say within the next 20 or however we will see him. Because here's my opinion why I don't know if it's going to be the next chapter. Because what I remember the last time we took a break and got these 10 chapters leading up to 400 is everyone going. We left off with Heinrich and like the other two members of his little gang or whatever. Beating some highly ass, and people were like, "Oh, we're not going to come back into that. Those are unimportant characters we don't really know anything about. We're not going to come back into that. We're going to come back into like it's been like 3 years. We're going to come back into like Gon doing something or like Kurapika doing something." And no, instead we just came back and immediately it was back to the right back into the action where we left off. So, in my opinion, I think the chapter is going to immediately start off with us seeing the Kurapika and Tubeppa alliance, which is right where we left off, like the last panel of the last chapter. And we're going to see some more details into that, and then go into stuff around the boat. So I don't think we're going to see Gon immediately, but I do think there's a very safe bet that we will see Gon eventually.
Okay, so you didn't let me finish. I have in parentheses written down here, just in the color spread.
So let me go off on that whole tangent without interrupting.
That's the reason I wrote it that way. I knew it would happen.
I think it's a safe bet that we will
see a
check-in with him.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I also think it would be funnier if we don't. So that's personally what I think will happen.
I think the more interesting thing is, are we going to see any Killua?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because that's like that's a rarer bet on the table.
That's actually we'll get to that. Yeah. So what's your next theory?
All right, next for me. Let's see. So this is kind of a dual theory. The first one's kind of like a joke that I don't really believe in, but I believe could be real, and then the second one's the actual thing. So the first one is Hisoka will actually not have gone to the upper tiers. Which is, I kind of wrote lol afterwards because I don't think it's true, but I think it could happen. I think Hisoka very well could stay on the lower tiers even after getting the VVIP pass to go to the upper tiers because he's just that kind of guy.
You know what? I'm all for that.
And the main reason why I think of this is because when he was talking to Heinrich before he gave him the VVIP pass, he's like, well, you know, if they start it, I can't do anything. And Heinrich was like, yes, I understand. I understand. So I'm like, what if he just stayed on the lower levels until they picked the fight with him? But yeah.
100% I agree with this.
But the actual...
That would be so funny.
The actual Hisoka take that I have is that Hisoka will take an interest upon hearing about like what's happening with the princes. When he gets into the upper tier, he'll somehow hear about the princes in the death game and stuff, and he'll take an interest, and he'll end up taking a look around the upper tiers, like kind of as a gauging, because that's what Hisoka does. He gauges people a lot to see if he wants to beat the crap out of them. So he'll kind of take a look around while he's waiting for the spiders and that kind of thing, and that's how he'll end up meeting Kurapika, and that kind of situation will set in motion. So it'll be kind of a situation that stems from Hisoka taking an interest in other Nen users, maybe even hearing about the Nen class. Maybe I don't think he'd take much interest in the Nen class, but he might end up eventually meeting Kurapika through like kind of like just an exploratory view of the upper layers. So
I can see that. We haven't really had a Kurapika Hisoka interaction in so long for characters that were very like intimately connected for so long. So like I could definitely see that.
And we know for sure that for both of them it's like on site for the spiders. So we know that if Hisoka sees Kurapika, he's definitely like going to tell him. He's not going to be like coy about it. Like, if he sees Kurapika, he's going to be like, oh, yeah, there are spiders on this ship, because he probably... well, actually, now that I think about it, he might want to have them all to himself, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not, maybe.
Okay, but... would it be even funnier if Hisoka does some sort of, like, texture surprise, like, timed Nen shenanigan, to where, like, it waits until Kurapika is in like in a compromising moment, like a high stakes situation, and then like something appears to let him know the spiders are there. Like, okay, fan fiction moment. All right, imagine this, right? Kurapika is directly dealing with one of the princes, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, for the sake of argument, someone who's like more dangerous. Like he's like literally like in like a high stakes conversation with like Benjamin or someone, right?
Yeah.
And during this conversation, like texture surprised on the back of Kurapika's hand from where like he shook hands with Hisoka or something, and it's like the mark of the spider shows up there because it was set on a timer.
I think
I'm not saying that's going to happen. I just think that's the
like,
funniest possible thing.
I almost feel like Hisoka wouldn't do that because he'd want to deliver the news himself. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Like I said, I'm just what is like the funniest possible outcome?
I feel like either way, we're gonna see Hisoka and Kurapika interact some way here in these next 20 chapters, and it's going to lead to the kind of breaking point for Kurapika, which is like, does he go after the spiders, or does he do his like duty in protecting Wobble?
Protect Wobble.
Which choice does our character go down? And we'll see. So, because he's leading to that split road. There's a couple different paths: the spiders, Wobble, and Serednich, and it's like, which one is he going to go down? So, but for you, good man.
So this one is going to go into deaths a little bit, but I predict, and now that I know we're going to get like more than 10 chapters, not exactly sure on the time frame, but I don't think any of the princes are going to die in at least the next 10 chapters.
Okay.
I personally think that like for whatever reason, I think that like the death aspect of this death game is going to get like teased out a little bit.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, we're only like...
Now that's also assuming...
only like 30-something chapters into this arc, so...
What do you mean? What do you mean we're not 100 chapters?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy to think how small this arc is, and yet how much like information there is packed into it. So, I mean, there's definitely time for the arc to like develop without any more deaths for a bit.
Yeah,
I feel like.
But anyway, my next prediction is that like within the next chunk of chapters, we will not get another prince death. And that's also with the assumption that there will be more princes stuff that we get. We just won't get another death here.
Okay. It's fair. My next one kind of ties into my last thing, kind of like tying in with it, is Kurapika will meet Serednich for the first time, either at like one of the banquets or something, and he will realize that he cannot be reasoned with for whatever reason. Something about him ends up being off, or like maybe he ends up actually getting into his chambers and seeing like the Scarlet Eyes and who we believe is his friend's head, and just like realizes that he can't reason with Serednich, and whether or not that sends him into an instant rage, or like he has to like reallocate his plans, or like he ends up pushing it off to the side for later. I don't know, but I feel like that within these kind of 20 chapters, we'll end up having the meeting of the hero and antagonist of the arc, finally. Which is, it's a weird thing to say as a prediction for a Hunter x Hunter arc, because it could very well not happen.
Yeah, of course the main character and the main villain are going to meet. What do you mean?
Yeah, it could very well not happen. The Chimera Ant arc our main character and our main villain literally never met. So it literally could not happen in the whole entire arc. Something entirely different could happen. Serenus could die to the Coaling Dame. Karapika could die to spiders or something. Like it's entirely different thing could happen. So it's weird to put it a prediction as the main protagonist will meet the main antagonist. But yes, that is one of my predictions.
I can definitely see it. I do definitely think we're at the point where, because I forget, were Tebeppa and Serednik on good or bad terms? I'm trying to remember. I know he's on good terms with...
They're on bad terms, I believe, because Tebeppa doesn't like a lot of the other higher tier princes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember.
Literally a quote from Tebeppa: "Arrogant, greedy, indulgent. They should be purged, every single one," in reference to the four higher princes above. So. Okay,
yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to remember. There's a lot to remember.
So yeah, she's the fifth prince, and she does not like the four above her. So that's who are the four above her? Benjamin, Camilla,
Jean Lee, and Serednik.
Serednik, yeah, those are the four. So she doesn't like. She thinks they're all bad people.
And is she right?
Well, I can certainly say, for two of them, she is right. I can give her the benefit of the doubt. She's half right, at least. But yeah.
Let's see. So, my next prediction is that I think that at least one of the spiders is going to go MIA.
Okay.
Now, I don't think necessarily that one of the spiders will die here. I think that one of them is going to go MIA, with whether or not they're dead being unsure within this next batch of chapters.
Okay.
That's also, again, provided that the spider element of the arc is something that stuff happens in.
Yes. Well, since we mentioned, I think I'll have some work to expand on what you said later when I bring up some of my stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Since we brought up Tebeppa, though, I think we're going to end up, within these 20 chapters, we're going to get a long-winded explanation of Tebeppa's Nen Beast, courtesy of Rihan, everyone's favorite. Where Rihan will go off on another chapter where he kind of like gives his allusions to Tebeppa's Nen Beast now that we have this alliance with Karapika, and supposedly the Nen Beast needs an ally to work. It needs cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think now that Nen Beast is going to be in full focus, we're going to have Rihan have like a full chapter, not a full chapter, but like a good bit where he's going off about what he thinks, like just expulging information on it, essentially.
See, Rihan, was he the one who has the
he was the one
Predator?
Predator, who killed Sally's Nen Beast and like went off on the whole chapter about like it's very specifics about his Nen Beast. And if you remember, his ability Predator is he basically incubates a beast that will become the perfect predator for a beast as long as he can predict it as accurately as possible, essentially. So the more accurate he predicts...
Oh, yeah, I remember his name more than I remember him. I remember his ability more than I remember him.
Yeah, so the more accurately he predicts the Nen Beast, the more accurate the Predator will be to taking it down, and like the more easily the Predator will be able to take it out. Similarly, if he learns information from people before like he can observe it himself, then it nullifies his ability. So he can't learn outsider information, essentially. He has to observe it. So that's Rihan. He's one of Benjamin's men. And yeah, he took out Salih Salih's Nen Beast, and he is now on Tubeppa. And we actually, because we the only 2 chapters we've really seen of him is there was like a little introduction to him before he did that, but then there was like the big long chapter where he took out Salih Salih's Nen Beast, and then there was kind of like a good like quarter of a chapter where it was him basically overthinking like, should I be here with Tubeppa, or should I be like monitoring Wobbles classes, or should I be like like he's just like, am I in the best location for the team right now, essentially. So that's the last we've seen of him, but he's still supposedly
which
on
is
Tubeppa.
Such an on character way to think about his situation, considering the way his ability works.
Yeah, he's a perfect overthinking character, so I think we'll see a nice chapter with him kind of relaying more information on Tubeppa's Nen Beast after we get a bit more about it.
I'd love to see what happens if he's wrong.
Yeah, well, I think, like he said, it depends on how accurate he is how accurate of a Predator it is. So I'm assuming like if he's like 90% right, it's like a 90% accurate Predator, but if he's like 50% right, it's like, you know, the Predator is still strong against it, but it's not like a one hit KO. Like it still has to like battle the Nen Beast essentially. So that's how I've headcanoned it in my head essentially.
Yeah. Alrighty. Oh, is it my turn?
Yes.
Or your turn? My turn. Okay. Number 4 prediction. I actually don't think we'll see any Kurapika. Like, I know the last page was him like setting up a thing with Tubeppa. I don't think we're gonna do any Kurapika. Maybe at least like for like the next like chunk of chapters. I don't think we will.
10 chapters.
Yeah.
The only reason why I disagree with you is because the last 10 chapters we didn't really have any Kurapika, so I feel like this has to be some. I think it would be funnier
if we still don't get any Kurapika.
I mean, to be fair, like, where's Leorio? Like, come on.
Okay, all right. And I guess you got my 5th prediction. Leorio will be mentioned once. He won't appear.
I think there's
won't appear.
I think there's a real possibility because he's on the medical team with Cheadle, and I think like the snake lady from the thing, because they're all in the
Zodiacs.
medical team. Yeah, because they're all the medical team. So I think they're all down in like tier 3, and I think there's a possibility because Mazai Storm, in the last batch of chapters or the ones before, when he met with Illumi, was like the lower decks are gonna fucking explode in conflict soon. Mazai Storm's like he's suspecting that the lower decks are really gonna like ramp up soon. So I think there's a possibility that we could see, because of this mafia kind of infighting that's going on right now, that there could be a lot more happening on the lower decks, and we could get some more Leorio perspective, possibly, which I think could be cool.
Yeah.
But
terrible if he dies.
Yeah. But speaking of the mafia conflict, I think that Luzurus, the Prince Luzurus, will become a more active player in the game because of the fallout of whatever happens with the mafia conflict. So the mafia conflict right now, it has Luzurus's kind of sponsored mafia family and Zhang Lei's mafia family teaming up to fight Serenish's mafia family. And I think that there's going to be some major fallout from that. Some stuff's going to be happening. I didn't make any major predictions relating to that, although I do think we'll probably see the Hylie kind of take a bit of an advantage because they've been kind of on the back foot for a while because they're kind of all rookies and stuff. But I think, like, you know, especially like Dogman is really interesting, like seeing what's going to happen with him, because he does not seem like as much of a rookie as the rest of them.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be something happening there, and I think because of that, Luzurus, something involved with that will cause Luzurus to finally gain confidence in himself, because, like I mentioned to you back on my reread, Luzurus kind of shot up in amongst my favorite princes because he seems like he really could run away with the game and like kind of be a really powerful powerhouse amongst the other members of the Culling game right now. The only reason why he's not is because he doesn't have any confidence in himself. He doesn't think that he can do anything, essentially. So
I think that he is actually one of my out of the favorites, or out of the princes, he's one of my favorites, I think.
Yeah, I really like him, and I think he could definitely be a powerhouse in the Culling game if he just gained confidence in himself, which I think will happen within these next kind of 20 chapters, and it's going to be in relation to the mafia conflict kind of popping off, essentially.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. I am really excited to see, just in general, when the cup spills over between the Culling Dame and the mafia stuff.
Yeah. And like, I'm interested to see, because I think this is the first time we're going to see, I think in these 20 chapters we're going to see one of the have-nots spring into action, which if you remember is the Camilla's secret guard that when they commit suicide, they essentially curse whatever prince they're thinking of.
Yeah, their entire life is literally dedicated to thinking about hating one of the princes, so that way they can do that assassination.
I think we're going to see one of them activate, and I don't know how effective it will be, but I think we're going to see one of them activate for sure. Or maybe one might already be active on Fugetsu. We don't even know, because Fugetsu's whole thing is happening.
Because we don't know if that is
Yeah,
we don't know if that's a curse or if that is literally just her exhausting herself.
Yeah. But I have two more. You're done with predictions, right?
Yeah.
I have two more.
Unless I think of another one on the spot.
I have two more, and these are my juicy predictions. I saved my juiciest ones. Okay, so the first one is that Machi will find out that Hisoka has been given clearance to the upper tiers, but won't be able to get up there herself, and will come into contact with Chrollo, but will not tell Chrollo when given the chance to tell him that Hisoka is on the upper tiers. All right, so why do I think this is a lot? Why do I think all this? Okay. So first things first.
I can see it.
First things first, we know Machi is the smartest of the spiders, probably barring Chrollo, maybe. And Chrollo beats her out probably on like battle acumen, but maybe not in general smarts. So we don't really know specifically, but we know Machi is really smart. She's really good with Nen. As we learned from the backstory, she already like knew Nen before she knew what Nen was. So it's like, we know she's very smart. We know she's very experienced. So I think she's going to end up finding out somehow that Hisoka's been given clearance to the upper tiers, whether he's up there or not. But she won't be able to get up there. She won't be able to find a way to get up there herself easily. I think she might eventually find a way, but that she won't be able to find a way up to get up there easily. And while she's trying to figure out a way to get to the upper tiers to kind of clash with Hisoka, she's going to run in with Chrollo's team, which has Chrollo, Bolinov, and Shizuku. And she's going to run into them, and she's not going to divulge the information that she learned about Hisoka being on the upper tiers. And the reason why I think this is because lately we've seen Chrollo and Machi kind of having a competition of sorts. The last time we kind of saw them, where they're like both like, I'm going to be the one to kill Hisoka, and they're both very angry. And not only that, but the few times that we've seen Machi and Chrollo like in a conversation together, the past couple times, it's been Machi like surprised at what Chrollo's like saying or doing. Like Machi's like surprised at his actions and leading to her thinking that he's like changed in a way almost. So I think Machi's not that she doesn't trust him, but I think she's going to not give the information over that she knows this, basically.
I can definitely see that. I think, because I think in particular, like the two that have the biggest emotional connection to the conflict with Hisoka is going to be Machi and Chrollo.
Mm-hmm.
So then, her literally just not giving Chrollo that information, I definitely see that.
Yeah, and it's less like her betraying him and more like her not wanting to like give away her cards almost because she doesn't
Mhm.
she feels weirded out by her gut feeling feels weirded out by Crollo right now. Like every conversation we see with him, she's like very surprised at what he's doing and all the like that kind of thing. So I think it's just one of those things where she's gonna have a gut feeling to just not tell him. And it's just gonna be like, all right. And I think that it is eventually going to lead to kind of like maybe a domino effect where it ends up fucking over the spiders a bit, maybe, but we'll see. But that's maybe a bit further down the line. But the other juicy prediction I have is that Serenich knows the Sonata of Darkness / things about it or information about the Sonata of Darkness and uses it in some way to try to make a deal with Melody. So, Serenich, we know, is a fucked up guy. He knows a lot about high art and a lot about fucked up high art. So I feel like he's going to know a bit about this Sonata of Darkness, and he's very interested in meeting with Melody, and perhaps when he meets with Melody, the information kind of comes out that he knows a bit about it. And it will kind of be like this thing where Melody might not even know that he's like she'll know his heartbeat, but she might not even know like his true intentions and that kind of thing. And she might be like persuaded to make a deal with him, essentially.
I could definitely see that, yeah. I think
You think?
I think Saradnik's particular brand of evil, I think seeing Melody react to that would be very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Especially like recently with his developments, where it's like he's kind of got a thing now for Theta. He's kind of like he's like, oh, I love two-faced bitches who lie to me. Like, I think Serenich is developing in a very interesting way, and he loves seeing the reactions of people, and he like shocks them essentially. So yeah, I think that's my prediction for what's going to happen there, because we still have to kind of tie up what's happening with Melody, all that business. But I also have some death predictions. So I mentioned this earlier with the Mafia. I think we're going to start seeing the Heli turn the tide and see them start killing off the Mafia members, as well as one more important member on the ship. Now, what do I mean by more important member? I mean characters like the Zodiacs, the Spiders, and the Princes. That's what I mean specifically. So I think we're going to see them kill off one member from those groups. Now, which one? I couldn't state specifically. If I had to give a bet, though, it would be a bet that I'm going to transition into my next prediction, which is the Spiders. I think one of Nobunaga, Phaeton, and Sphinx is going to end up passing away in this Mafia conflict, which kind of ties into your MIA thing a bit. Maybe they don't end up passing away, but end up going missing for a time. But I think one of them will definitely be out of commission for a while, if not forever. After the Mafia conflict's over.
I definitely agree with that, because like I said, I don't know if I necessarily see one of them dying, but I do definitely see, like, you know, something happening to one of them that is substantial.
Right, and I think the Spiders as a whole, substantial things are going to happen to them in this arc. I don't think it's unrealistic for some of the Spiders to end up on the Dark Continent, but I also don't think it's also unrealistic for them to, like, not make their way past
the only big
continent,
question is how much will happen and to how many of them.
Yes. So I actually have
with the current assumption being everything happening to all of them.
I actually have a little bit more prediction. So like I said, one of them I think is going to die, but I also think I have so I'm not certain on all the side spiders. Like all the side spiders, like Bolanov and Shizuku and stuff like that. But my prediction is that we will see these three specific spiders die, and I'll give my reasons for them. And it's going to be Crollo and Machi, who I already talked about a bit. And the reason why I talked about them is kind of related to their deaths, where I think both of them are going to pass away kind of with this. They're either going to pass away with this kind of rage fueled thing that they're going through right now, or they're going to have to forget it. And I think that's going to kind of be a parallel with what's happening with Kurapika right now, where it's like we're going to show like the spiders, and they're kind of going through the same thing right now. And so it's like we're having parallels where all these characters want revenge, and it's like some of them are going to have to succumb to this revenge. You know what I mean? Some of them are going to have to succumb to it, where it's like we can't have all these powerful characters all being like in this revenge-fueled mindset, wanting to kill each other on sight, and like not have some of them essentially succumb to it. So that's what I think. Chrollo and Machi are high-tier death flags for me. And the other one, who I think if Chrollo and Machi die, in order for the spiders to have a major change and go through a major change into the next arc, I think the other spider that has to die is Franklin. Now, let me explain. A lot of these spiders we see have their different varied views on what the spider is. And despite what Chrollo LARPs as, where he says, oh, you know, even without me, the spiders will continue on, he doesn't really believe that entirely. And not a lot of the other spiders really believe that. Most of the spiders think that Chrollo is essentially the linchpin to the spiders, and that without him, they would dissolve, essentially. That is not true. For one in specific, we know Franklin. Franklin is like the only spider that we know that is very much in the school of the spiders are, you know, this group that no matter who dies, we will continue on as the spiders and we'll bring in more members and that kind of thing. So I think if the spiders are to go through this massive change where after this arc, they have to be like, these characters have to be like beaten and broken down and like different people and they have to go through different things, I think that Franklin also has to die, because with him there, it will be a bit stagnant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Franklin is like he is basically the mature one of the group. Yeah, I definitely can see that.
Yeah, especially after Paku's passing, and like he's basically the and like Uvo's passing, he's basically like the only one left that's like the voice of reason, essentially. Besides maybe Nobunaga, but Nobunaga also goes off the deep end a little bit, so it's like, and Machi, of course, but like Machi's also gone off the deep end, so it's like,
yeah,
he's kind of the only one left that I feel like he'd have to die for the spiders to be reborn as something else. Yeah. Which ties into a longer-winded theory that essentially boils down to, with the spiders gone, they're essentially the CEOs of Meteor City. They're essentially what made Meteor City what it is today. With them gone, it will be easy for Gyro to scoop in and kind of make his way in, but that's way longer down the line.
Yeah,
something we don't have to worry about right now.
Yeah, interesting thoughts. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I mean that's just my thoughts on the spider situation. Because everyone has their thoughts. Like, all the spiders going to die? Are they going to live? Like, what's going to happen with them? I think this is a turning point for the spiders. I don't think they're all going to die. I think some of them are going to live, and they're going to have to move on with their lives, essentially.
Yeah.
I'd really like to see like what would happen to a Finks that doesn't have his found family. You know what I mean? Like that kind of character where it's like they're essentially defined by the fact that they're, you know, in this found family. So I'd like to see what happens when they're taken from that, essentially. But there are definitely some other characters that I'd be interested in to see. But other than that, of course, how could I bring up deaths in the arc without bringing up the princes? I have ranked the princes in order that I think they're most likely to die, from 1 to 11, within the next 20 chapters.
Very fair.
All right, so number 11, the least likely to die, I think, is Serednich. I think he's the least likely to die within the next 20 chapters. I think he's not the least likely to die in the whole thing, but I think within the next short little bit, he's not going to pass away. I think he's going to be around for quite a while longer. Whether he makes it to the end of the Culling game, that's another thing.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it would be a huge shock if he were to die now.
Yeah. He has so many moving parts, even with like the heli not even really being attached to him, but like still, it's just one of those things.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Also, welcome to the chat, Pizza Boya. Talking about Hunter x Hunter at the moment.
Number 10, least likely to die, I think, is Hulkenberg. I think at this current point in the story, yet again, I don't think he's dying. I think he is definitely starting to ride that knife's edge, and he has definitely made that turn against the upper tier princes, where he's kind of going into a war against the kind of higher princes. But I don't think he's going to die yet. I think there's a bit more that they want to explore with Hulkenberg. And more credit to him. I think I agree with him. Interested to see what happens with him.
Yeah.
Number 9, Benjamin. I don't think Benjamin's going out early. I think Benjamin's holding on till the end. I think he's going to be one of the final combatants in the Cullen game. He has too many advantages going for him.
Yeah.
I think like they did like a poll in Japan, and like I think of the princes, I think everyone voted him number 1, most likely to win the Succession War. So I think Benjamin definitely has a lot of advantages compared to the other princes, and I don't think he's going out early. If at all. So we did see one attempt at his life. I'll say that much, but you know.
Was it a good attempt?
To be fair, it was a good attempt in the terms of you don't consider your opponent's move, but if you think I'm the only one that has an ability, then yeah, it's a good attempt. Yeah, Benjamin at number 9.
So here's one small aside is that I think would be interesting, right? Hockenberg and Benjamin are both people whose abilities and characters are centered around in slightly different ways, but are centered around the consolidation of power coming from the people that they respect and are in charge of, being consolidated into them.
Okay.
I think at the moment, like the two, like if there are like two princes that are in like a direct conflict with each other that might not necessarily cross over with like Kurapika in his angle, I think it would be Benjamin and Hockenberg. I think it would be really interesting if both of them die, but for whatever reason, their Nen beasts are still in play and affecting the story.
Okay.
So in particular, I can see a world where one or either of them still die, but their subordinates are still directly impacting these things in one way or another.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure necessarily how, but I do actually kind of think that one of them might die sooner rather than later, specifically to have their people pick up the pieces and carry on.
That makes sense. And also, like, you could even do like could even kind of loosely tie that into like Zhonglei with his power, where it's like we don't know really what's happening with it yet, but we know he's like kind of spreading his coins out through people at the moment. So like maybe after he dies, like his Nen Beast could do something there as well. But obviously it would be less in relation to like the people that he trusts and more in relation to the people that he gave the coins to. So a little different, but I think it could be the same kind of principle where it's like he dies and the Nen Beast is still there essentially.
Yeah, also interesting, we still don't know what Benjamin's Nen Beast does. We only know about Benjamin himself's powers, so.
Yeah. Which not looks fucking sick. And something interesting about Hulkenberg as well is that every time he uses his power, there's a huge fucking rumbling on the ship that everybody takes notice of.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see how they'll develop. Yeah, Hulkenberg's power is really interesting, where it's like he just takes in all of this Nen essentially and expels it, and in this huge force that everybody like is like, what the hell's happening? So yeah. Definitely, but I think those three are obviously the bottom three for least likely to die at the moment. But I think they're definitely not least likely to die in the whole thing. Moving on to number 8. We got Wobble. I don't think Wobble's going to die within these next 20 chapters. I think it's very unlikely. Do I think they have the balls to kill an infant? Yes, I do.
Yes.
I do think they will. They very much.
I don't even necessarily think that Wobble is going to die, but I think that 100% Tadashi is willing to drop that baby off a cliff.
100% willing to do it if he feels like it enhances the story and so, or like it is how the story is going, essentially. So, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's very, very unlikely. Like this bottom half of the list is essentially people who I think is very unlikely. Like number 7 as well, I think is unlikely for the moment, is Miriam. I think he's going to be around for a while. I think, especially like right now, Hanzo's like the only message to the outside world that he has at the moment. So like they're still trying to figure out what's happening. So I think until they figure out a bit more about that Nen Beast, nothing's happening with Miriam for a bit. So
yeah,
I think his Nen Beast has specifically made him safe for a reason. Moving up, these are the I could see them dying within the next 20 chapters, but I don't think it's likely. Just 2 of them. Number 6 is Anglais. I think we still have a bit more to explore with him. He still has a bit more coins to hand out, and we still have to see what happens and like what ends up developing with him a bit more. Similarly with number 5, Lucerus, I think we still need to see a bit more development, but I also could see him like dying earlier rather than later. Something end up happening. So it's not like I couldn't see these guys dying within the next 20 chapters, but I think it's unlikely compared to the top 4, which I think any of these 4 could die within the next 20 chapters, and I wouldn't be too shocked at their deaths. We have Camilla in the 4th place. I would not be shocked if she ends up going away within the next 20 chapters. She's obviously a loose cannon and obviously a bit of a problem. And fun fact to note about her as well, even when she dies, she still has her have-nots who are still loyal to her and like will still presumably carry out their duty after she dies. Not only does she have the have-nots, but also we don't know anything about her Nen Beast either, because she is intentionally suppressing it because she doesn't like it. So, which is funny.
It's so funny.
She does not like her Nen Beast, so she's intentionally suppressing it. It's kind of humorous. So that might end up biting her in the ass. She's very confident in her Nen power in and of itself, which is another Nen Beast. She's one of the only princesses that has 2 Nen Beasts. So
I like to imagine that the funny. Okay, so here's my prediction. There's going to be a scene with Camilla. Mm-hmm. Where she like dies and then comes back, using her Nen Beast, and Daddy-O is gonna be like down in his little
his lair,
in his little lair, and he's gonna like look at the thing light up, and he's gonna be like, "Ooh," and then it's gonna turn back off, and he's like, "Oh, darn it, Camilla."
We'll see what happens there. But I think very likely possibility she's gone in the next 20 chapters, as well as these next 3 that I'm about to list off. Number 3, Tubeppa. Tubeppa's put herself in the spotlight. She has a issue with the top contenders in the game right now, I think. And she has aligned herself with the main protagonist, and we don't know much about her yet. But I think she's kind of like given herself a couple of unnecessary death flags, like kind of aligning herself here. And I think I would not be surprised if she dies within the next 20 chapters. I would be pleasantly happy if she doesn't, and we get to see a little bit more of her before she ends up going away. But I would not be surprised. Yeah. You have anything else to say?
Let's see. It's like, so chewing on some of the stuff you've said now.
Okay, I still have
Kind of thinking.
more if you want me to end off the list before we go off on tangents, or.
Yeah. Don't want to head for a little bit. I got something to say, but I'm not sure what.
Okay.
I'm chewing on it.
So top two, I could very easily see these two dying within the next 20 chapters. Number 2 is Tyson. Tyson, I am very afraid of what's going to be happening to all of Tyson's guards.
Yeah.
I'm more scared for them than I am for Tyson, and that should say something because I do think Tyson has a very good chance of dying within these next 20 chapters. Especially because Izunabe is trying to get Tyson to really push to like get King Nasabi to read her book and to hopefully use her Nen power against King Nasabi. I think it's very likely that Tyson does not make it past these 20 chapters. I think just if there's one prince that has to go that like we haven't seen too many like things for, it's going to be Tyson. Where it's like I just think they're flying a little too close to the sun at the moment. And they might get burned. But number 1, which I don't want to see go, but I think has the greatest risk of dying out of all the princes is Fugetsu right now. Fugetsu's in a real bad way. We don't know what the hell's happening with Fugetsu. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. There's like 3 different things that could be fucking her up, all equally really bad. Fugetsu, I don't think I could see her making it out of this, especially with like Melody on her side. But right now Melody's kind of predisposed, and we don't know like if have-nots been used on her or like if something else is happening to her. If this is just her power like bouncing back and something negative, or like maybe the fact that Kacho's Nen Beast is now feeding off of her Nen is like doubling up and causing some issues there, and like that could even make her weak to the have-not that maybe hasn't even procced yet. So maybe the have-not could notice and be like, oh shit, time to go. Like there's a lot of stuff that I feel like Fugetsu could end up gone at the end of this. I wish it would not happen, but I think of the princes, she is the most likely to die within these next 20 chapters. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely. I think you're wrong. Sheerly for the fact that I don't want it to happen.
It's one of those things where I definitely don't want it to happen, but I couldn't place her any lower on the list because it's so like obviously Hunter x Hunter is known to like break the mold and do whatever the fuck it wants. But at the same time, it's not going to set up like a bunch of pieces of a puzzle. And every single time it sets up all those pieces, they're going to be like a joke. You know what I mean? Like, sure, there can be some situations where it's like, oh, I think this is going to happen. Oh, I've been surprised. He shocked me. Oh, I think this is going to happen. Oh, like the Hunter exam didn't go as I thought it was going to go because Killua murdered that guy. And so it's like, obviously there are those that happen in the story, but not every single time that happens are we going to get like
not every setup is a misdirect.
Yeah. So I think the setups here are there. It's very strong against Fugetsu. Yet again, I could see Fugetsu living, but I think it's very, very strong against Fugetsu right now, where it's like she has a very high chance of dying compared to all the other princes at the moment. She's just the weakest at the moment, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion.
Counterpoint?
Mm-hmm.
If another prince is to kill someone within the next chapters, like another prince directly killing another one, I could kind of see it being Fugetsu.
It's fair. I could see it happening as well. Compared to, I think the most likely is probably Camilla if she gets out. But if not, then yeah, I could see Fugetsu.
Yeah, so like, well, specifically, I think that with Fugetsu right now, she is either going to die or she's going to become active in a very dangerous way, not necessarily for her.
Yeah. I could see it happening.
Because, like, we can already see that she is kind of snapped.
Mm-hmm.
So I could definitely see that angle.
Right.
That being said, I just want her to be okay.
Yeah. And at this point, it's still, like, innocent, in a sense. Like, she's going crazy, but it's still, like, her going crazy over, like, wow, my Nen can do this. My Nen beast can do this, and that kind of thing. And, like, it's not like her being like, wow, I can kill all the other princes and get away with it.
Yeah.
So, we could see that happening. I don't know.
Yeah, like specifically what I would see happening if we go the route of where she doesn't die and she does have some sort of breakdown is that she tries to do some sort of escape again, but another prince is in the way. Probably Camilla.
You just want Camilla
I could see
die.
something happening. Or she kills Tyson.
You just want Camilla to die.
Yeah, or she kills Tyson. I want Fudetsu to choke Tyson to death with her bare hands.
Tyson didn't even do anything wrong. People hate on Tyson so much. Like, genuinely...
It's all because of their Nenbees.
I see people hate on Tyson so much. Literally, Tyson is just like a kid playing role plays.
Yeah. Tyson, like, heard about Jehovah's Witnesses and was like, oh, that's so cool, I could do that.
I also like... I really liked... kind of had a bit of a soft spot for Tyson in the most recent reread. Because... Guillermo del Toro, whatever his name is. He's the guy who's with Izanagi and who is the only other one, like, not sniffing the paint at first.
Uh-huh.
But we learn a bit about him, and, like, he's like the only guy that Izanagi kind of, like, trusts to talk with a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn a bit more about him, and he loves the arts, and, like, he's kind of, like, reading the book a little bit, and he's like, this book ain't that bad, and you can see him, like, getting affected by the Nen Beast. Why is my Gallade so much smaller than yours? What the hell?
Did you catch yours in the wild?
Yeah.
That'd be why.
But... Where the fuck did that tangent go off?
You were talking about how he read the book and was genuinely affected by it.
He's read the book and he was, like, genuinely like, there's some artistry in this and, like, that kind of thing. And then, like, it didn't seem like he was going to be perfectly convinced, but then he walked into the room and it was Tyson and the guards, like, throwing him a birthday party. And, like, he was like, what? My birthday isn't, like, till, like, 6 months. And they're like, and Tyson's like, well, I'm not going to see you in 6 months, so we might as well have it now. And he just, like, broke down and cried. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know if
like, that can't be all man, right?
Yeah, like, I don't know if that's like Tyson's, like, effect, or if it's just actually, like, him having a genuine effect on him as a character. Like,
mm-hmm.
So it made me kind of, like, my heart softened a bit for Tyson. I was like, it doesn't seem like they're a bad person.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on that one.
Very valid. Oh my God, I forgot to take the bacon out. 1 second.
Oops. That's I know where I'm going. I basically have not been playing the game at all. And I don't care. Let me actually look up my Twitch dashboard.
whenever we buy bacon, I've started just immediately throwing it in the freezer. Because, Alexa doesn't always know what she wants for dinner, and even though bacon usually has, like, pretty, like, decently far out dates, like, like a month or so at least, find 5 ditto blocks, hooray!
I know, I saw it, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, like, sometimes you'll be eating, sometimes the bacon just comes out a little funky if I don't, eat it too quickly. I'm not sure why.
I thought you were saying it was
I don't know if the dates on the package
oh,
are just bad. Oh, no, not in the oven, but it was frozen in the freezer, so I need to take it out to thaw because we're having carbonara tonight.
Hey, I invited you to be a guest on, a group collab stream. I forgot this is a thing you can do now.
What?
Go to your Twitch dashboard and see if you got an invite for me. Because it used to be a partner-only thing, but they spread it out to everyone else now.
Oh, okay. Where is...
We can share our chat rooms, which is fun.
Check it out.
If you can't get to it, don't worry about it. But I just remembered it because I was looking over at the Twitch page to see if my bitrate was good, and then I saw collab with your friend if you're streaming together. And I was like, oh, I'm doing that right now.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't see it on my stream manager. When did you send it? Like just now?
Yeah. I sent an invite. Where's that big raid we were supposed to get today? Huh?
Yeah, where is it? Oh wait, nope,
Dream. Yeah, I have no idea where would even send the invite to. So.
Yeah, so it gave me an option to join your stream, but I was on the Twitch app on my phone, so it joined my phone. Started streaming from my phone for a second.
In the group thing.
I wonder if it's just not available through OBS, maybe?
I don't think it's on OBS. I think it literally just gives people an option when they come to our streams to watch both of us at the same time, essentially. And then also when they chat in either of our chats, we'll both see it. So it's like an official multi-Twitch, essentially. So I don't think OBS needs to do anything with it. Could be wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, so maybe we're gotta join chat now. Oh well, we'll see.
It says getting ready. I can start viewer call-ins? Yeah.
Viewer
sounds
call-ins.
Like the worst idea ever.
Agreed. All right, yeah. So where are we at?
Oh, I see. Okay, that's kind of cool. You can put your camera into the group thing, and so you can both have the camera on your stream essentially. Kind of neat.
Oh, that's neat.
Neat. We're Twitch boomers figuring out Twitch stuff.
Yeah. Hey, at least you have your Twitch channel to show off to a prospective employer.
Affiliate TV, yeah. Got affiliate back in 2019, and since then have not streamed.
Yeah, the first thing I have on my resume is Twitch affiliate.
Really? Do you actually have that on your resume?
No.
I was like, there's no way I believe that's on your resume. Maybe I should put that on my resume to punch up, you know?
Yeah.
Been a Twitch affiliate for however many years, like 4 years now.
So I went to one of those resume builders, sent in my information and whatnot to them, and they came back and they're like, you know what, your resume, yeah, great, just one small problem. We think you should put that you're a Twitch affiliate on there.
Did they really say that?
We think that's the one difference that you need.
Because here's the thing, is I want to not believe you, but I also believe that they would say that. Like, people would. Because, like, getting affiliate...
Maybe they did.
Getting affiliate isn't the easiest thing in the world. You do have to dedicate a little bit of time to it.
Yeah.
A little bit of elbow grease. So, I could see them being like, you got this affiliate. You should put that on your resume or something.
No. Do you think I'm going to spend money on a resume build?
Because you have a recommendation? Good.
Please. I've done a couple of the free ones that are built into Indeed and whatnot. The big thing for me is that I need to have something tangible on there, which I just do not have yet.
Yeah, I just asked my brother, who's really good at setting stuff up, and also basically all I put was my school and my internship that I did while I was in school. And my brother was like, "Do you have any certificates?" And I'm like, no. And he's like, "Well, it should be okay."
Worst part is you gotta spend money with those ones. Even the W3 school ones, for the through the website, to do the actual certificates is $80.
Yeah. Even CS50, which I don't even know if that certificate people give a fuck about. That's the the free Harvard coding program. Even that costs, I think, $80 or $70 if you want to actually get the thing for it.
It's crazy. I have actually made progress on my website at least, though.
That's nice.
Did I tell you what I'm doing?
No.
So I took a couple of screenshots from Pokemon Stadium. As high resolution as I could get, using my scalars and whatnot. And then I recreated those elements in HTML, CSS, and currently working on the JavaScript implementation for them.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Well, no. So see, here's the thing. Is that building something straight from scratch, I have no ideas. I'm just I don't even know what to do. So I'm okay, this is a thing that I can be okay, so say you give me a screenshot, I can build that. I can make it responsive if you don't already have ideas for how it's responsive built in. I can build it and make it functional. The functionality part I'm still working on, but yeah. But so that's my first project that's going to go on my resume is I'm recreating the rental screen from Pokemon Stadium 1.
That's funny.
That being said, because there's 150 Pokemon rentals, though, I think it will behoove me to attach a database to it, which is something I haven't worked on at all since some of my earlier tech courses in college. So I think if I look at what I'm actually going to do with it, I'm not going to have the battle system in place or whatever, but I am going to have the rental screen where you can add Pokemon to your team and then take them off.
Yeah.
I think even having that,
yeah,
I think it shows off a couple of valuable skills. So I'm
pretty neat.
Yeah. I built the main screen of it, as well as like the pop-up whenever you click on a Pokemon to like see all its stats. I built those, and then I ported those to React. And now I'm working on the actually making the elements render. What's the word? Making them render based on like data from a database, as opposed to me having them hard coded in. Which I haven't messed with SQL in probably like years straight. So
I really hate web dev because every time you mention like a new language or like something, I'm like, man, I hate using JavaScript. Man, I hate using React.
Yeah.
Web dev is not my favorite.
To be fair, I think I probably would have been a lot better if I just went for like generic programming.
See, well, you think that, and then you end up like me, where you've been applying to jobs for 9 months and getting interviews, and nothing's fucking happening.
Oh, have you been getting interviews?
Yes, I've been getting interviews, which are usually like the high stakes interviews. I have to dress up like in a fucking full suit, have like 3 or 4 people like sitting at the other end of the table, like drilling me with questions, like making sure I know the information, and then they're like, a couple of times I'm actually a little pissed off because a couple of times they've been like, you basically have the job, like there's no way you don't have it, and then they don't call me back, and I'm like, I called them back like 2 weeks later, and they're like, oh yeah, we got someone else, and I'm like, like
don't get my hopes up.
Well, it's because
man, that's
it's because right now the 2 industries that I'm interested in and have been applying to are the tech and the entertainment industries, both of which have been having mass layoffs for the past 2 years. So,
oh yeah, that's true.
So there's a bunch of free skilled labor essentially. So even if they're like, "Wow, you're a really good job," like the guy who comes in 2 days later might be like a million times better than me. So
yeah, or he might be like just as good, but actually has places on his resume that he just got laid off from.
Essentially, so it's like, it's cooked. My ass, like even like more experienced people I know, like I've tried signing up for like websites that just like you take what are they called? Where you just like take a job. And it's like, I'll pay you $170 or whatever. You just do this.
Oh yeah.
No, nobody's giving jobs on those, and like I've even talked to other people who have been in the industry for a while, and like I know one guy who literally just like lives off of commissions essentially, where he just like does commissions. He's like an older guy who just does commissions, and he's like, yeah, I've been getting nothing for the past year. Like, it's literally just the industry's cooked.
Yeah, and AI is not helping.
No, the thing is, AI is not helping because it's not even like AI is not helping because it's taking our jobs. AI is not helping because a bunch of fucking stupid people think that it will take our jobs, so they're firing people and being like, just implement AI solutions, and then the AI solutions don't work, and they're like, what the hell?
And then the talent pool is getting flushed even more with people who can plug the stuff into AI, and that's it.
And the entertainment industry's cooked because they got a bunch of government bailouts during COVID because like you can't really like fund that kind of stuff during COVID when people have to like pay money to keep their air conditioning on because we live in a fucking late stage capitalist society.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't really fund entertainment industries, so it's like you had to like get huge government bailouts, and like almost every single like major video game company located in the US like hired like thousands of new like employees during COVID, and then oops, we don't have the money for this anymore. Now we're just firing them all. Like, it's a big reason why video games are like having this huge mass firings, because they just don't have the money to keep these people on anymore. So yeah, it's kind of fucked. So there's a bunch of people coming out of the CS degrees that like aren't doing stuff. Like I looked on my my LinkedIn, and there are a couple people that like have jobs at places that are like lower tier jobs, I found all 5 Ditto blocks, by the way. Fucking step it up.
Oh, you know what? You are totally killing it. I'll like go to look for them and then get distracted and forget what I'm doing. Good job. Thanks for the 600 points.
So true. But the like they'll forget where I was at in the rant. People will do things in the industry. Where the fuck was I at in this rant? Oh well. Oh well. It's best not to think about it.
That's true.
It's cooked. It's basically the over under.
Yeah. As I slowly but surely grow closer and closer to walking out of my grocery store job every day.
This is about to apply to fucking Best Buy and like Walmart, bro.
Yeah, I have finally broken and started applying for like places that aren't like actual tech jobs, like stuff that's like maybe not like a huge upgrade but still like not Kroger. I'm about to start applying for like factory jobs. That's how bad I need out of there. Sucks. But anyway, so Hunter x Hunter.
But it's a real life thing. Oopsie.
Yeah, did we have any other Hunter x Hunter stuff?
No. I think unless you have more stuff to talk about.
No, I think I'm good on that. Did you have any Are you playing any of the new Zelda yet?
So I'm going to go back to the point where I talked about how I don't have a job for the past 9 months.
Yeah.
I'll reference that. It looks interesting.
It's really good so far. I'm only about a dungeon and some change in, because most of my time not spent at work is being spent working on that website and applying to jobs, so I haven't played it too much, but it's really good.
It looks like a melding between Breath of the Wild and traditional Zelda, so...
Yeah.
But I probably... I mean, I still have to beat... I still have, like, the Link's Awakenings remake that I never beat on my Switch, so I still have to beat that before I even think about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll feel bad. But, and I have plenty of games. I have, like, 2,000 games on Steam, so...
Yeah.
I don't want for a new game, really.
How between Zelda coming out and me finishing my Dark Souls 2 replay, I started another Dark Souls 2 replay.
Okay.
Man, Dark Souls 2 is so good.
This is the one. Yeah, you were talking about this one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was talking to you about it. I was even doing like a sorcery build too. Man, it's a blast.
Surprised you never did PvP in any of the Dark Souls 2 stuff.
I mean,
like what it's known for.
Well, I don't have a PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I forgot you're playing on PlayStation. Probably not that popular there. Because I know on PC there's still like a scene for it. I don't know how big it is, but I don't know if PlayStation has.
Maybe I'll look into doing that at some point. I feel like that would be fun to dedicate some like time to get good at.
I had a lot of fun back in the day playing Dark Souls 2 PvP. So
yeah,
Dark Souls 2 and 3 PvP.
All I know is
I spent a lot of time with and loved them both dearly.
All I know is that I've been loving Dark Souls. That Dark Souls 2 replay. I don't know if I'm actually going to finish it, because, like, obviously I'm on Zelda now, and...
Yeah.
It's like I played around, killed a bunch of bosses pretty easy, and I've gotten to the point where anything that I do will probably take some like real effort. It's like I got through all the easy bosses, like the whatnot. I got to where I can use some dark spells.
Beat the Lost Sinner.
And also, like... Oh, no, I haven't done Lost Center yet. I think that's actually where I was, like, gonna go next before I got Zelda. Oh, Hugh, do you want on my lap? A really fun thing that I wish I had messed around with a bit more was the buff spells, like just like the weapon buff spells, like magic weapon and whatnot. Those are actually really fun to mess around with. Oh, also on my original Dark Souls 2 save file, I went and used the bonfire aesthetic to refight a couple of bosses. Specifically, I refought the Fume Knight, who was like the hardest. Who for me, I think was the hardest boss that I had trouble with in the game. But I respect my character to like get rid of some of the wasted points. So I also did like I changed my Heidi Spear to lightning infuse it, and then I gave myself a whole bunch of faith in addition to my dex, because I think I got my dex way higher than I needed it to. I think I had it like in the 50s. Because I think I hadn't quite realized about the like soft caps for leveling. So I changed it to where I'm like 40 dex, 40 faith, lightning infused spear. Also gave myself enough attunement to be able to cast the sunlight weapon or sunlight weapon, whatever, where you give it lightning. Put on that lightning clutch rain, and suddenly the amount of damage that I'm doing makes the fight actually like doable instead of like a 20-minute endeavor.
And it's definitely like a longer and more difficult fight, but when you were saying like you were having like 20-minute fights, it was like, you okay, man? What's going on?
Yeah, it's like it is. I was also. I also realized that I'd been playing Ron with spears the whole time, and that if you're not using the old Leo ring, what are you doing? Essentially, because that damage is a huge difference. It's like one of those things where it's like on your first playthrough, you don't realize that like actually optimizing for how much damage you do makes such a huge difference in how hard the game actually feels.
For sure. It's like when I see like streamers and stuff do like runs where they're like, I'm gonna do the Cestus run, and they're like, man, this game fucking sucks. It's like, well, you just use like a weapon that is fucking god awful and like don't know how to level it. And it's like, yeah, obviously like there should be a barrier where it's like the game like lets you fuck up but doesn't like fuck you over, but at the same time there should be some kind of easier entry where it's like you shouldn't be able to fuck up that bad, where it's like you need this one ring to make spears work, you know what I mean? Like I will say that
Yeah.
too, where it's like,
although then again,
definitely like a bit of a...
I will say that like also, when I say that like there's no reason to use spears without the old Leo's Reign, I do mean that's like, you know, if you're talking about like fighting late game bosses. It's like I said with Dark Souls 2, my biggest problems were if it was a boss I just didn't get yet. And then later is when I started to get damage checked. And that's mostly in the DLC, where like the damage checking was really bad, even with like a plus 10 weapon. But that's also just kind of how the DLC bosses go, is how I've begun to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think I every time I go to play more Dark Souls, I come out loving it more. Maybe on my second playthrough of 3, I will think it's good. Who knows?
I mean, I think 3 is good. I just think 3 is a little suspect in a couple of
I mean, I cannot deny how much fun I had in 3 in the moments where it clicked for me. Like, I really wish bonfire aesthetics were in 3, because I would love to go refight some of those bosses. Without having to replay through the whole game again, like the Dragon Slayer armor, freaking Gale.
Yeah. And there's some I wish I could use a bonfire anti-aesthetic so I could fucking skip them. I'm looking at you, Madeir. Yeah. Somebody did like a study on like the most difficult Dark Souls bosses in each of the games. And like one of them had like for Dark Souls 3 it was like Gale was the hardest and Madeir was like the second. And like from what people surveyed, like from what people's opinions were. But then in like actual practice it showed like Gale was like one of the like second hardest, I think, behind like Abyss Watchers, which is funny. For most people.
Oh yeah, because if
it's just Abyss Watchers, it's just like it's a tight and difficult fight.
Yeah, and one of my favorites.
Yeah,
honestly.
But like, and then like Madeir was like way down, and it was like Madeir wasn't like people weren't dying to Madeir a lot. It's just Madeir took fucking forever, and because when you die like after like a fucking eternity, you're just like I fucking hate this boss. like Madeir has a bunch of like very predictable attacks, and he just has like a huge health pool. And when you get hit by one of the attacks, you're just fucking pissed off because you just died in like a fucking stupid attack, and you're like, I fucking hate this boss. And like, Madeir sucks ass.
Yeah, I didn't even finish Madeir. I fought him. I didn't even beat him.
I genuinely hate Madeir. It might be my least favorite boss in the whole like of every FromSoft game ever. It might be my least favorite boss. It's such a crock of shit. Like, obviously there are bosses that are worse designed, like Demon of Song, you know, like Pinwheel, like clearly some worse designed bosses, but like I hate Madeir so much more than any of them.
The problem with Pinwheel is that he's at the end of such an annoying area that no one is going to fight him early enough in the game to where like his health pool is equal to how hard he is.
In that same survey, they were like, Pinwheel had one death, and the one death was because the dude went from the beginning of the game to the actual area, like without like, like, and it was a new player, and he just like went like he like was dying to the skeletons, and he just thought, oh, this is how hard Dark Souls is, and he went all the way there and like died to Pinwheel once, and then went back and killed him the second time. Like it was the one death.
Honestly, iconic.
I like it.
Yeah, like Pinwheel really is like
it makes sense that Pinwheel,
he really is like a first boss.
It makes sense that Pinwheel's really difficult if you go to him first. Like not even really difficult, but like kind of like a bit more difficult if you go to him first instead of like everywhere else.
Yeah.
But like nobody's ever gonna go there first.
I try it, and even on the times I try it because I want to, I'm just like, nah, this sucks, and then I don't.
Yeah. And it's also like people talk about how difficult like Nito is even like after it. I'm like I never felt like Nito was difficult. That fight always felt like easy as hell. Just don't get ganked.
Yeah. I thought Nito was fine. I didn't even need to like do any special tactics to beat the skeletons.
Yeah, so you just like, oh, he's going to respawn the skeletons. Okay, walk away for a second so the skeletons can come at you and then you can kill them.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate actual how to beat a Dark Souls boss. Just be fucking patient. The killer solution. Be patient. Once that they have a sliver of health left, don't do that extra attack that you know will make you get hit. Trust me. You will be mad.
I do wish poison was better in Dark Souls 1, because
Mm-hmm.
Using poison in my not even like a cheese sense, but just like in like a using poison as like as your main source of damage. And then like using poison as your main source of damage and then switching to a stronger weapon afterwards, like man, that feels so good to watch the health bar just go down and down.
I mean, the issue that they have to balance is like making it so that like poison or like arrows even are just balanced in a way that it's not like that. Like if somebody really wants to do like I want to do like an arrow run, they can do it. But if somebody wants to like cheese a boss, they can't just like swap to the arrows and just cheese that.
Yeah. Or like I think they should be able to do that. I think it should be like hard enough to where like if you're playing through this game, you're not going to have that riddling thought in the back of your head where it's like, why am I just not standing back there with the bow?
Yeah.
Constantly. It's a hard thing to balance, I will freely admit that.
Like, we get it. You want to fucking top of Sen's Fortress, kill the Iron Giant with the bow. You want to spend like 30 minutes just sitting there. We get it.
Like, I did actually have to do that in one of the Dark Souls 3 bosses, the old Demon King. For whatever reason, that boss was just not clicking for me. So eventually I'm like, alright, we're gonna do this. And then I just bowed him.
So you get one get a bow free card. You can choose one boss per playthrough with a bow if you really feel like it. But past that point, it should be seen less as unnecessary evil and more as like okay, well, maybe we made this thing a little too powerful.
Yeah. Wish you could bow cheese, my dear.
Madeir's literally a monster hunter boss fight in Dark Souls 3. Like, you're fighting fucking Xeno'jiva's looking ass. Like,
Oh yeah. Ugh. Oh, are you excited for
yeah.
Wilds?
Yeah. I didn't really play Rise as much as I thought I would. And World I played through like twice and I enjoyed. But I've talked about it before. Monster Hunter is one of those series that like you get really like, well, I don't know about other people, but I get really passionate about. Not for every entry, but like every couple of entries. Like, it's like, ooh.
Yeah, it's like every once in a while you're just like, okay, it's time.
I haven't played for a bit. I got interested, but like if I'm not the every entry kind of Andy, so I don't know. I mean, I didn't
That's
play.
fair.
I didn't play Iceborne or whatever the Rise DLC was. Like, I didn't play any
Yeah.
of this.
Of course, the Iceborne was my fault. I mean, if I had to play through the entirety of World with me, I also would not feel like going to play the DLC after.
Is that what happened? I don't remember.
Yeah, because remember, it was either right after Iceborne came out or right before Iceborne came out. That was when we did the stream of it.
Mm.
And then we just never went to finish Iceborne after we beat Xeno'jiva.
Yeah. Okay, I can see it. Yeah, I don't know.
Then I went back to start playing World afterwards because my wife was excited for Rise. And then suddenly I understood, oh yeah, this is why people like Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I mean, Monster Hunter is good. It's a good game, but I mean, it is like it does require a modicum of thought.
Yeah,
and
it's also like a pretty big commitment, both
yeah,
like time-wise, brain space-wise.
right. Like I used to really have a lot of time to like shiny hunt in Pokemon or like play Monster Hunter if I had free time. But now, if anytime I'm like, oh, I have free time, what do I do? Boot up RuneScape. And it's not like I'm mad at it or anything. I'm like, it's just my free time game now. When I have free time, I play that game.
Yeah.
That's what MMOs do.
Oh, did I tell you I went and played through the rest of the DLC? Well, most of the rest of the DLC for Rise.
Nope. Nope.
I did. It was good.
I've heard good things. I just yeah.
Yeah, much like the base game, the writing was pretty solid for all the characters involved. And the best part of that was the follower system, where like a lot of the main characters would basically you take them out on quests with you, and that made the master rank hunts actually doable by yourself without being a huge slog every single godforsaken time. And B, there's like a lot of neat character interactions. The like new characters that you can bring along with you from the DLC are all right, and you can also bring some of the Kimura people with you too, like the Hub Maidens and Utsushi,
Okay.
which was fun. Oh, the final boss sucks though. Like super sucks.
Isn't that the one where you
Just
do, like,
Terabad and
different
awful.
elemental like shit against it? I heard.
No, that's
That
Iceborne.
World? Okay, that's Iceborne.
Yeah. In this one, the final boss is just like a really big guy, and then sometimes you have to hit him with turrets, and then sometimes he does a big explosion that kills you.
So
And also there's
the one big lava monster from World, whatever the fuck its name was.
yeah, it's not as bad as Zora Mandaros, but it's pretty close. The biggest problem with it for me is that, because like the turrets aren't a big part of it, so most of it is like you are actually fighting it like a regular monster, but it's just bigger. Like kind of like a Xeno'jiva, but a little better. But some of its attacks are just like so dumb. Like if you're playing a Dard build, like a Dunlance, which part of it is just my problem for playing Dunlance, but it has moves where it will like put like a thing on the ground, and if you're standing on it, it will make you sheath your weapon and then walk slower. So you can't dart while you're on it, and then it immediately after drops a meteor there. So it's like, well, guess I'll go kill myself. Dart up level 3 and dart plus 5 isn't doing nothing for me.
That's one of the things that it feels like with Monster Hunter. You gotta balance all the monsters around all the different weapon styles. Make sure they all feel good and not like fucking liquid ass, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm not gonna say it's an easy task, but I definitely didn't like it there. Me and my wife were actually thinking about going back to play one of the 3DS games. Because she found her brother's old copy at her dad's house, and she's like, well, I'm just going to take this. Yoink.
Which one's that? Monster Hunter?
And then when we were at GameStop...
X?
which one is it? It was Monster Hunter... Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate was the one that she found.
Good one. Good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, and so she found that and was like, yoink.
Damn.
And then immediately afterwards, not immediately, but like within like the next week or so, we stopped by GameStop and they happened to have an in-box copy of Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for 3DS. And it wasn't even that much. Yeah, they've actually started carrying a few older games here recently.
It's a little nutty.
But so we got that for sub $20, and it's like, well,
yeah,
now we can play this. We both made characters, and we haven't played it yet, but we're thinking about maybe planning on doing it sometime.
Perfect marriage experience. We spent an hour and a half in the character creator. Then we logged off.
Yep. I haven't even been doing much competitive Pokemon here recently. I built like a one good team for Red H. Played a couple of games
Define
in
good.
the what?
It's a define good.
Okay, you listen here, buddy. Okay, I built one good team that, provided I had the time to both practice with it and refine it, I would feel comfortable bringing it to a regional.
Okay.
It has Slush Rush Cetacean with Entrainment and Choice Specs Obama Snow.
So yeah, like I said, define good.
Let me pull this up actually, because it was really funny when I shared it in the.
What's that shit? The damn fucking Stunfisk, bro.
I like myself actually, so I actually in Skill L in the chat I'm in. Let me see if I can go back to it. How long has it been? Oh god, a lot of messages in here since I last checked. So I did actually post the team in there.
And where?
And these in the team building Discord I built or that I joined.
Oh.
So these are the first two messages. The first one is, "This team doesn't make sense, LOL." I actually don't know who that person is. And then the next one, Brian, who I love, he said, "It makes sense, but would I run it? No, because I'm a coward." Fun team though.
Yeah, the best part is you don't gotta bring Incineroar counter because nobody's bringing Incineroar anymore. It looks at the most recent tournament day one stats and
Listen, I don't know
Incineroar.
why they said it. I don't know why they said that. They're so dumb. No, listen, you do not sleep on the Incin. Just don't.
I just like
I'm
people
not saying
being
you
like,
don't.
"Yes, finally, we don't need. We don't have to worry about Incineroar anymore. Incineroar's dead." Day one stats Incineroar, fucking 36%. Oh, it's just funny.
It's like, I do think the one thing about Incineroar that I will say is that annoying as it is in the way it just like invalidates so much, you do also need to be, even if Incineroar wasn't around, you'd still need to be prepared for Intimidate and Fake Out at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's like, as annoying as it is, you should probably be prepared for it either way.
Yeah. It's not like a certain mushroom that makes it so that he's the only thing in the game that has 100% sleep percent, can heal his allies, can make all the attacks focused on him, is super bulky.
Oh no,
If
no,
you swap him out,
Amundus is so fair. Amundus is such a fair and balanced
I don't
Pokemon.
think
How
Amoonguss
dare
is
you say
unfair.
anything?
I just think Amoonguss is like... There's no... If Amoonguss didn't exist, there would be no Amoonguss representatives, essentially. Like, there would be nothing that does Amoonguss as well as Amoonguss does.
Oh yeah, no. Safety goggles wouldn't need to be an item
safety
if
goggles
Amundus
wouldn't
didn't exist.
Like, the whole, like, grass not falling asleep to that thing wouldn't exist. Like... The whole like different terrain stuff keeping people awake wouldn't exist really, like, so literally Amoonguss.
Man, I'm still so upset that we don't have Tapu Fini in the game right now. Like, don't worry about the other Tapus. I literally could not care less, but I just want Fini back.
Tapu Bulu crying in the club right now. Tapu Bulu
What's
crying
that?
in the club because
What's that?
Grassy
You mean
Surge didn't
worse?
exist when he was
Rillaboom?
around. They finally released Grassy Surge and just a better Mons out. What can you do? Can
you believe that they would put Bulu in the game and not give it Grassy Life?
Yeah, Grassy Life. It's so fucking funny.
Dude, just give Bulu and Coco Spirit Break. It's fine. You can do it. Just give it to them. Please, they deserve it. They need it.
But yeah,
I would actually be
Amoonguss
more
Clears
upset.
needs to go to and die. Who owes me the goated one?
The only problem with the Mundus is that I keep on building, and I'm like, all right. I'll either think, you know what, a Mundus would be really good here, and then I look at the Rillaboom and I'm like, wait. Or I'll think, you know what, Rillaboom would be really good here, and then I look at the Mundus and then I'm like, wait. Or anytime I want to use a grass type, I'm like, all right, and then I look at the slot that should be Rillaboom and a Mundus, and I'm like, wait.
Me like, I'm thinking about Skull Villain.
Listen, if there was a reg to do it, it would be this one. You don't have friggin' booster energy. You don't have any booster energy paradox mons to worry about. You don't have the bulk level is a little bit lower, and you can just choice specs, Terrifier, Burning Jealousy.
I did like the meme where it was like casuals looking onto the new regulation as everyone's saying it's the most fun regulation of all time when people have finally banned legendaries like they said to for years.
Surely there won't be any really annoying, really strong Pokemon that you have to deal with. Looks at Blood Moon and Archaludon.
So I would be totally up for them, expanding the dev cycle to 3 years instead of 2 years now, and making it so that it's the national decks, the international decks, and then the fucking super powerful mons banned is the third one.
Oh yeah, because you do like it's like regional decks, DLC, Ubers, or GS Cup, and then Legends ban. So it would be like a 4-year competitive cycle.
Yeah, it's just 4-year competitive.
I would be good for that, yeah.
Because I think everyone's having the most fun with this regulation, like any of the past regulations for this gen so far. So
I don't know. I personally think regulation. What was it? Was it which one? Which one was the one that I played in my first regional? I think it was B. Yeah, it was Red B because that was we had the Paradox Mons, but we didn't have the Treasures of Ruin. That format was really fun.
Mm-hmm. Let's see that for the treasures, yeah.
And I don't think it was even necessarily that like the treasures ruined it. It's just that like the base 135 speed tier ruins it.
The only thing I know about treasures, like besides them obviously being good, is the Chi-Yu copy pasta.
Oh yeah,
Chi-Yu overheat.
But have you considered choice specs? 252, 252. It's like finally we've got a replacement for Hyper Beam Porygon Z.
That's like Electivire taking his place next to Dusknoir as the new mon that it just exists so that we can put Eviolite on its unevolved form.
Oh yeah. Dude, the fact that Electabuzz is good right now is so much fun. I was using it I was building with it a little bit at the start of Red G. But yeah, Electabuzz is fun.
Yeah. It's funny that like he's so common right now.
Yeah. That being said, though, there's a really funny meme that people have been sharing around where it's like it's NA can't play, EU can't build. And so it's like people are sharing like around things like, look at how creative these teams are from this tournament, and then someone's like, don't make me tap the sign.
Oy.
Part of me wishes I could play more, but it is like real time commitment, and I can't be putting that time in right
that's
now.
why you were like, when you were like, oh, I know you've been on a competitive kick. I'm like, I have not been playing. I have been watching. There's a big difference.
But you could be playing. Listen.
There's
You and me, we're
no
going to Orlando
world.
together next year.
There's literally no world where I play competitive Pokemon.
Listen. We're going to Orlando together next year.
Debatable. Me still without a job by the time next year Orlando rolls around. I don't know, man. I just don't have a job.
Listen, if I have a good job by then, I'll pay for you.
I don't know, man. I don't want to. I'm gonna bring the most.
I know you really want to go.
I'm gonna be the most decroded team just to make sure I go out day one. We're bringing Spite Ops out. This is the team. Is the team MVP.
Listen. All you have to do is run like Spite Ops next to Urshifu, and you're fine.
All we have to do to make Spite Ops work is to release next gen, release an evolution for Spite Ops, and then Spite Ops will work. Smile.
Oh, Spite Ops.
I wish I liked its design. I wish it had another evolution so that we could actually use it.
Yeah. Or if they gave it some stats.
So,
Okay. It's like they gave us like. It's like they gave us two like first impression bots in the same gen, but one of them is just so leagues better than the other.
one of them is the GOAT. I still love the.
I do love low kicks too, though.
I love the low kicks memes where it's just like, waiter, more fallen OU mons, please. So good.
I'm so stupid. I literally I looked through those friggin' mountain caves for Rotom. Okay, quit digging at the couch. Found one, and then I forgot to catch it. I've been looking for a Ghost type for so long for that first frickin' mission.
Oh, I saw a Rotom earlier. I was just ignoring it.
I think it might be the only Ghost type we can catch in this map. I'm not sure.
There's Golurk
Unless
here.
I'm probably just forgetting. Oh yeah, that's right. Bro, I walked past a Golurk too.
Staring at Golurk, looking at him right now.
Oh yeah, no, catch him real quick.
He's level 77, super powered mon. It depends what he tries.
Yeah, catch him real quick.
Everything it translates into flying.
Oh, that's funny. It's a reference to him. Okay. Hello, Bon. Will you grab me a toy? Go find me a toy. Come on, baby. Find me a toy. What a good boy you are. Go on, go find me a toy. Okay, help him. Find me a toy.
What?
Man, I'm so excited.
Is Golurk not actually heavy? Am I stupid?
He is. I don't remember. I don't think he's like the heaviest in the world, but I think he's like fairly chunky.
I used a heavy ball and he immediately broke out.
Oh, rude. Hey! I think he's one of those mons where he's just heavy enough to where, like, you can run Heavy Slam on him, but you can't, like, easily run Heavy Slam on him.
His weight 700.
Yeah. So that's like, in terms of heavy Pokemon, that's baby mode, but it's still like pretty heavy. We are the same. We are the same. Underneath the sycamore. Da 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 da. Oh yeah. Also, I'm so excited. Have you heard about all the Pokemon ZA news?
No.
Exactly.
Not been keeping up with it at all.
No, we're not getting any.
Isn't that supposed
So
to release
exciting.
this year?
No.
Oh.
A lot of people were like expecting it to, just because Pokemon has been on like the October release dates, but like no release date ever came out, and at this point, people are predicting based on like a Pokemon TCG set releases that like we're probably not getting it till at least like June next year at the earliest. Which I am very much in favor of. Take your time, please. I'm begging you.
Well, Z has also been made by the people who made Arceus, also known as the team that is competent. So, the team that even though I don't like Arceus that much, I respect the fact that I think they know how to make the game better than the main team.
I do love Arceus. Best part about Arceus is that you can skip the battles like 90% of the time.
So true.
Oh, did you hear about the Power World lawsuit?
Yes, I thought it was really funny. Like, I get it. Like, people are online going like, "Fuck Nintendo! They don't let anyone have anything." Like, I get it. The the company that made Power World is literally a scam company. Like. They literally just take people's shit and like repackage it into another game and go like, look, we made a game.
Yeah, it's like I think that the game industry will be 100% worse if Nintendo wins this. Like literally, Nintendo should not be suing them for what they're suing them for because they're suing them based on like game design patents, not for any like the specific designs.
There's some weird stuff in relation to that, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, so it's like I 100% think that like it sucks, and that I'm not like on Nintendo's side necessarily, but also Power World is one of the most shameless, blatant, soulless things I've seen in existence, and I have no sympathy for it.
Yeah. It's,
I think best situation for me is that Power World wins, but the company had to spend so much money winning that they go bankrupt.
To me, it's like, it's so weird seeing people say like, fuck Nintendo, fuck corporations online. It's like, you do realize they're suing another corporation, and one that literally, like, all the games that they make are scams.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like as garbage.
The next game they're going to release is a Hollow Knight ripoff that looks exactly like a Hollow Knight. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, like as garbage as like Nintendo doing what it does is, like that company in particular, like them releasing low effort clones to saturate the market of things just as they get big, or whenever they have the opportunity to, is, bad.
We're bringing up the patent trolling shit. So this is like a patent troll by Nintendo, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing to note that a lot of the video game companies in Japan have like a Cold War like agreement not to patent troll. specifically enough to like sue based on patents, unless a company really fucking bothers them, essentially. so
Oh yeah.
so the reason why Nintendo's doing this is because Palworld really fucking bothered them, it seems like. So
I mean, Powerwolf is like, it just feels like a punch below the belt.
yeah, it's kind of scummy. It would be one
Yeah.
thing, like, because Nintendo like hosts like a bunch of creature collectors and like battlers on their thing as well, like Cassette Beast, Nexomon, that kind of thing, where it's like they host them and people are like, well, what about them? It's like the difference is they didn't rip the models wholesale from Pokemon and then just like give them a new coat of paint and a couple of extra appendages and be like, look at our new monster.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what they did in Palworld. And then they put it over the stock standard Unreal Engine Ark Survival Evolved clone game and just called it a day. Like there's no artistry. It's literally a scam. Like I don't understand people sticking up for it. Like I genuinely don't understand.
Yeah.
It's baffling to me. People will stand up for this company that has no like no backbone or anything like that. But because
Yeah,
Nintendo's
it's like there's
suing them for patents, it's like, oh shit, Nintendo's the devil. It's like obviously, yeah, it's fucked up, and I disagree with it.
like,
But like,
yes, they are, but also
like
you
they
got to
are,
admit that like Powerworld put this target on their own
yeah. Like
backs.
if Palworld didn't do what they did, then this wouldn't be happening. Like if they made,
Yeah.
also the game was advertised as Pokemon with guns. Like, like obviously they didn't advertise it themselves as Pokemon with guns, but literally every publication was being like Pokemon with guns is releasing like next spring or whatever. Like, and you didn't make it, even in that reveal trailer. The mons that they showed off were like looked exactly like Pokemon. Like,
Yeah. Like I literally like I have this I could never track it down, but I have this vivid memory of there being a trailer that was literally the Power World trailer but with actual Pokemon models in there. Like I have this vivid memory of like what like whenever I saw the Power World trailer, I'm like, wait, didn't this exact same trailer but with literal Pokemon models come out like 2 years ago as a joke? And I could never find it, but I like vividly remember it. No one else has remembered this but me. But like I vividly remember it was a thing long before Power World had come out.
I don't know about that, but
I vividly remember it.
you're
I
from
swear.
an alternate universe where that happened.
Maybe. Yeah, it's really hard sometimes because it's like you can see like a situation like this between two corporations, and you're like,
And you're like, it's gonna fuck over all of us, and then everyone's like, no. It's obviously fucked up.
It's like
it's obviously not great. No matter who wins,
okay,
I feel like. Because
quit that.
if the Power World devs win, then that just means they're gonna become a staple in the industry essentially, which I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like I said, best case scenario is the okay. No, actually, no. Best case scenario is that it costs so much money on both sides that it never gets settled, and then Power World goes out of business, or not Power World, but whatever that company is called. That is the best case scenario in my HO.
yeah, and like I don't.
It's kind of like that inner.
No, go on.
I said it's kind of similar to like the Internet Archive case from earlier,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like it really sucks that they lost.
Yeah.
But also, the Internet Archive made some stupid choices that led to them taking a stand that they did not have a strong enough position to win.
Or like even more recently, the Switch emulators, where it's like I forget, Yuzu and Ryujinx, like, were just like bragging about like, oh, you can run Zelda Day One on our emulator, and like, and Nintendo brought down the hammer, and they were like, why would you do this, Nintendo? It's because they were fucking advertising you could play their games for free. Like,
Yeah.
it's like there's another Switch emulator that I think doesn't. Actually, I think Yuzu's the one that was like advertising, and Ryujinx doesn't, and Ryujinx like wasn't taken offline because of it, I believe. So it's like there's still a Switch emulator that exists. Like, it's obviously not as good as the other one was, but like they also weren't bragging about like playing Switch games on release for free. Like, it's like, yeah, Nintendo's not a great company, but like if something illegal is being done in their presence, they're gonna take action against it. I don't know.
It's one of those where it's like, Nintendo suing to take down that emulator sucks, and in a just world they wouldn't have done that, but at the same time it's like, the people who were making that emulator made some really dumb decisions that they should have been able to see coming.
Just don't be stupid. It's that simple. Don't be fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It's like the Wooly online has said about people like making fan games and stuff. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Don't talk about your fan game till it's done. Then release it and it's done. Don't fucking say anything. Shut the fuck up. Then once it's done, you release that shit and everybody loves it. Like,
and then you be quiet enough about who made it that they can trace it back to you.
It's like fucking another Metroid 2 remake released as it was done, which is funnily enough right as Nintendo was about to release a Metroid 2 remake that they hadn't announced yet. And they were like, what the fuck, take that shit off, but it was already done, so oops, it's already done, it's finished.
Yep.
Like,
so it sucks that they did that, but ultimately they weren't making it money off of it anyway, and it's still out there in the wild, so like, you know.
Yeah. Just shut
I need to play AM2R at some point.
Just be quiet. That's
I never
won't
even played
say anything about
Nintendo's.
my Terranigma 3D remake that I made. Nobody gives a shit about that anyway. Nobody would care if I'm remaking that.
Nah, listen, the moment it's done, like, a sleeper cell is going to be activated in like a whole bunch of like millennials' brains, and they're just going to be like, oh, remember that.
Do you even know what Terranigma is?
I know of it. I never personally was in there.
It's kind of great. It's kind of goated. It's from the same era as Chrono Trigger, though, and so it will never be known because Chrono Trigger exists. So.
Yeah. Wasn't it like, weren't there like 3 games that were all together? It was like that one, Illusion of Gaia, and something else?
It's from the people who made ActRaiser, which is their like most popular work, is ActRaiser and ActRaiser 2.
That's right.
And then the trilogy is Soul Blazer's the first one, then Illusion of Gaia, and then Terranigma. Soul Blazer and Illusion of Gaia are okay. They tell the story that they want to tell fine enough. Terranigma is like goated. It is fantastic.
With the sauce,
and I don't just say goated because it applies to in general. I also say goated because of something that happens in the game.
Check out that quirked up white boy goated with the sauce.
Those who know.
The whole crowd was calling Big Hoss.
Yeah, Terranigma was great, and it saddens me that the ActRaiser Renaissance game that they released on PC was fucking turbo ass, or did that remake. That means I'll never actually see the rest of their fucking catalog remake.
Yeah. You know what else is great, though? Donating to my Patreon in the link below.
Donating to my Patreon, where I make Pokemon remake fan games. Don't tell Nintendo.
Yeah, don't worry. I won't get in trouble because I'm not remaking Pokemon games. I'm remaking Pokemon fan games.
What if I
This is
remade
the fan
Palworld,
game of
bro?
fan game. Can't touch me. Do it, do it, do it.
I still think about like those like hidden amongst the cracks like games that history will forget. Like I don't even remember the name of it. That's how bad it is. But the one game that Subnautica totally didn't rip off. Yeah, like it's just like, so many stories like that that are just probably out there that people just have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Like, what can you do?
What can you do?
Yeah, Palworld devs. I want to see them fall. They are not a great company. They are
Yeah,
a.
best case scenario.
Damn, it isn't backstabbing.
Yeah.
But yeah, and obviously Nintendo winning this wouldn't be great either. Patents.
Yeah.
Patents fucking suck, and they've brought about the detriment of gaming in multiple ways.
Yeah. Just remember, if you're ever wondering why so many D-pads sucked in the 90s, Nintendo.
What do you think is the most detrimental patents to video games? If you had to list one, you think it would be that one?
Yeah, probably. I think it would probably be D-pads.
I think it would have to be the no mini games and loading screens one.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I always forget about
For
that one.
literally,
Yeah.
like 2.5 decades, you're just not allowed to have mini games and loading screens because of fucking like Capcom or someone. It just like made loading screens just static, like wait and like fucking sit and stare. It's like thanks.
Yeah. Like, literally, do you have any idea how good the Dead or Alive loading screens would have been if we were allowed to have those?
That's like how
But no.
like gamer society didn't even know about it until Splatoon 1 had like the mini game in the loading screen, and then Nintendo got fucking sued. I was like, wait a second, what? You can't do that? You're just not allowed to have a mini game in loading screens?
Yeah, it's messed up.
It's fucking stupid. Or the Nemesis system. The fact that that's patented makes
Oh yeah, I forgot that
fucking
was
kill Warner
patented.
Brothers.
So dumb.
What if we created a unique system that like breathes a new life into like AI that a lot of other systems like aren't able to? Then we just fucking slap a patent on it and make it so nobody else can fucking put it into their games.
Yeah,
And only use it in
infuriating.
like one other game ever. Wow, thanks Warner Brothers.
Yeah, patents are terrible, a blight upon this world.
Saying, dude. That's why every year I look what works of media are going into the into the common common public distribution every year, whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah. Also, public domain should be
Public
like
domain, yeah.
15 years tops.
Everyone knows the author has to die, and then 90 years after their death to make sure that that none of their children get any more benefits out of it. That's when you're allowed to take the work.
Nah, them kids.
Like I said, I'm a big
In my humble opinion.
I'm a big death to the author proponent, so death to the author proponent. And while I don't mean literally, in this case, it does apply. Once you release a work, it's not yours anymore. You should. I feel like you should have a nice little stretch of time, like a couple years, where you're allowed to like re up on it, make sequels or whatever. But then if you go past that time, somebody else should be able to release a Winds of Winter. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Fan made Winds of Winter. It's been too long, George.
Or maybe, yeah, you have your time. Or you can add to it whenever you want. You can make whatever
Yeah.
you want.
No, I mean it's not like Death
but
the
so
Author
can
isn't
everybody
like,
else.
Death the Author isn't like the author isn't allowed to do anything anymore, and the author will still be the highest authority on like the works. It's not like Death the Author means like the author has no say ever. Like the author's still like
No, it's like there's that.
the primo superior in anything related to that world that they made, but like also other people have the chance to make things in that world and like do interesting things.
Yeah. We would bring up the obvious example of when that was done super well, but I don't want any more beloved actors to die.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Remember what happened immediately after the last time we had this conversation?
About who? Wait.
Like, I'm pretty sure it was the same day. James Earl Jones.
That's so true. That's fucked up.
Yeah. I still feel bad that we had that conversation.
And I feel even worse that James Earl Jones' voice is going to be propelled for the next 2 centuries to be Darth Vader. Because they're not going to let...
Yeah.
The man can die, the idea will not. It's just, yeah. When you have the perfect example of it done right in Star Wars, and then you ruin it by selling it for billions of dollars to a corporation. Which, yet again, I would not... I don't blame you for it, George. That's all I can say. If given the opportunity to get fucking billions of dollars for one-time purchase...
For something that I wasn't working on too much anymore, it's like, yeah, great.
I would not balk at the chance either. But yeah, it's not your fault, George. It's Disney's fault. Let's not pretend.
Yeah.
It's like even when
Mickey is a name. Nicknames are for friends, and Michael Mouse is no friend of mine.
It's like even when they had perfect creative control over Star Wars, like they had Lucasfilms and LucasArts and all that stuff, and they still let other people fucking work on shit. It's like they still had companies that worked on like Star Wars and stuff, but it's basically like perfect communism essentially. Like on paper, communism works really well, and the reason why communism works really well on paper is because the dictator that you have in communism is a benevolent dictator. So it's not a horrible piece of shit that's been corrupted by power, which is every time communism's been actually enacted in the real world. So
well, that's more. That's specifically authoritarian communism. That's not general communism. There's different types.
And like
but yeah,
communism and that kind of thing. And it's like, it only works on paper because of that benevolent dictator, or like the people that are higher up being good people, essentially. Because if power corrupts, then the people who are higher up, it's not gonna work. And it's the same thing where it's like George was a good person, and like he didn't give a fuck if other people ran around in his world and like did funny things. But he sold the dictatorship over to Disney, and suddenly the dictator doesn't want other people playing with his toys. So it is what it is.
And what it is sucks.
It's the world we live in.
At least there's still plenty of Pokemon fan games. I ain't never gonna play any of them, but I'll think about them sometimes. Yeah, those are neat. I'm glad they're around.
The only reason why I like Pokemon fan games is sometimes they make the game actually like difficult. So because like I said, I'm never gonna play competitive Pokemon, but like a personal like solo Pokemon game that actually challenges me and makes me think. It's interesting.
Yeah. When are we going to get? When are we going to get a Pokemon game with like the level of strategy you need to beat like Fear and Hunger? That's what I want.
Funger, yeah.
I want a Fear and Hunger Pokemon. Maybe I'll make a fan game. Maybe that'll be me.
That's why Nuzlocke are so popular. Is because is because like you actually have to think.
Yeah.
It requires
Unfortunately,
brain
Nuzlocke are also awful and unfun.
well, depends.
They're awful and unfun for me, anyway.
I got a lot of fun with Nuzlocke. And you're saying we
I
are
think
going
like the
back to
group Nuzlocke are
the
fun.
Emerald Soul Link that we left all those
No.
months ago?
I think group Nuzlocke are a lot of fun. I think that Soul Link was a blast. We should finish that at some point.
I don't think you remember what was happening at the end of this.
Where did we end off at? Was that it was right after we didn't get the minerals, right?
And basically what had happened is we'd stopped playing for a bit, and then we came back for a single stream, and I killed like 2 of our mons just because like I was very rusty and wasn't thinking, and like 2 of them died.
Yeah, that's
and we were
right,
like,
right.
So. And to be fair, despite the fact that I'm playing Pokemon right now, I'm not actually like. There's 2 different Pokemon games when I think of Pokemon. I think of Pokemon as like one of them's like my shiny hunt, run around for 100 hours and not really give a shit, and the other one's like the like catch aim on and think like how am I going to fit this into the team and how am I going to compete with this and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which like isn't. I haven't played that kind of Pokemon game in a while, so
yeah.
Is what I'll say. Because creature collectors can be very fun when they give you actual challenge. That's something I've been thinking about recently. Is like, as I've been playing some Nancy Drew games again in my off time because they're fun. And you know the reason why they're fun. I've been thinking about why do I find Nancy Drew games fun when I don't find like some other games, like even some other mystery games fun. And I think the reason why is because Nancy Drew games and like good mystery games, like your Professor Layton's or your Ace Attorneys or that kind of thing, force you to solve the mystery. Like you can't just click the button and continue along the story and eventually like it'll give you the answer to the mystery. It forces you to actually solve the mystery. You actually have to think and like be like, what is the solution to this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think I've been thinking on like mystery games. I feel like aren't explored as well as they could be in media, because like the popular ones, the ones that get really popular, like your Alan Wakes, they say a lot of things and they're like they have a lot of points to make, but at the end of the day, the mystery isn't something you have to solve. It's something you play through the game and it solves for you. And like, sure, it's a good story and sure you're entertained, but like you're not. You could get that same thing out of a book or a movie, you know. You could watch a book. You could watch a book or read a movie, and get the same experience that you would from that kind of story from a game, where it's like mystery games that I really like. You don't have that. You have to find the solution, you know. In like a Danganronpa, you have to like figure out what clues you need, and like Ace Attorney, you have to figure out what like contradictions you have to find and that kind of thing, where it's like you have to figure out the solution to the mystery. You can't just be like, I have no idea what's happening and I'm just clicking the forward button.
And it's so hard to build those these days because the idea of putting an actual roadblock to progress unless you solve something is such a hard sell.
Yeah,
for a lot of game makers.
And that's something that I was thinking on, like, because I was looking at my Steam games that I have a lot of, as I mentioned earlier, like 2,000. And I was thinking, because I sorted my library by like mystery single player games, and I was like, what's the most popular like mystery single player games? Like looking at some of them, and I was like, oh yeah, Persona games are like mystery games, but I don't really think of them in the same vein because you don't solve a mystery in Persona. Like your characters solve the mystery. But, like, have you ever played Persona games?
Yes.
Which one?
Well, so we did finally, so we started a playthrough of Persona 3 on the Switch.
No.
Didn't finish it, but we started it. Everything that I played of it is really good so far.
Mm-hmm. But
Persona 3 is my wife's favorite.
I've only played 4 and 5. Don't really like 5. I like 4 a lot. But in both of those games, you have like mystery segments where it's like you can figure out who the villain is before like they actually are. But to me as a person, it doesn't matter because I can't affect the story once that happens. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I know from like halfway through the game who the main villain of Persona 4 is, but I can't do anything except wait until the characters figure it out. And that's the difference between that and like something like Nancy Drew, where it's like, oh, I figured out, like, it drops the hints in a way that like is like, okay, here's the next part, here's the next thing I have to do. It like gives you little tasks and like you have to solve little puzzles, and then you're like, oh, okay, this person, you know, has this thing that could have led them to do it, and then you have to like at the end you're like, who did it, you know, who done it. And that's the kind of joy of, I think, the games medium that you can't find a lot in like other mediums that isn't explored as much. You know, like there's this fantastic game called The Forgotten City, which is it was a Skyrim mod initially, but then they ported it to its own game. And you're like a person from modern day, but you get sent back to a Roman era city where like there are people living from the Roman era, and like you have to figure out like what's happening and like all the things that are happening, and it's like you have to, and there's like multiple different stuff that happens, and like you have to actually like go through and figure out what's happening. And sure, like the game is, at the end of the day, the game is like, if you play through the game and you're not like an incompetent individual, you're going to figure out like what happens, you're going to figure out the story and that kind of thing. But it's like the game makes you figure it out. It makes you go through the process of doing all this stuff, doing the stuff like another actually popular game, Outer Wilds. People love Outer Wilds. You have to figure out what to do in Outer Wilds. You know, you can't just like, the game doesn't solve it for you. And I think that's part of the reason why people love Outer Wilds, is because it's this like vast universe and you have to explore it and figure out what the fuck you're doing. Same with Oberdin. Like Oberdin is like, you can't just brute force Oberdin. They literally have a system making it so you can't brute force it. You know, like you have to figure out how to do
Oberdin is one of those games that I've been meaning to play for years and just have never gotten around to.
So yeah, it's like I feel like my favorite genre of video games are definitely like character action fighter games, like your Bayonettas and your DMCs,
Dark
and your
Souls.
Kingdom Hearts. No, Dark Souls is not. Dark Souls is action RPG.
No, it is.
It's a little slower.
It's the only good one. I'm kidding.
Dark Souls is not. But character action fighters are more like fast paced. They're like the stylish combos. It's like it's kind of that middle space between hack and slash and action RPGs, like Dark Souls. It's kind of that middle space where your combos are weighty enough, like your Ninja Gaiden's like it's like weighty enough, and like you have stuff you can do, but it's like still fun, and it's like really nice to build your skill and execute as a person. And I think my next favorite has to be like mystery games that actually make you think, because it scratches that same itch as those character action games scratch, where it's like they have me build my skill.
It's up to you.
Use my brain to build my skill and like get better at the game. And then the same thing with those kind of mystery games. It's like you have to figure it out. You have to use your brain to like figure out, what do I need to do here? You know, like it stretches the same, whatever muscle in my brain that's stretching. Whatever muscle in my brain that's stretching, it's making me feel good. Both those genres. So it's like, yeah, I just like it a lot more than, it's something that I've thought of recently, where it's like, sure, I like Persona, but at the end of the day, if Persona stopped you and forced you to like actually figure out the mystery, first off, it wouldn't be nearly as popular, and second off, I would like it a lot more. You know?
Yeah.
Like obviously it's just trying to tell a story, but to me, the games medium is something that you don't need to tell a story in the same way that you tell a story in other mediums, and that's what benefits the games medium, I guess. You don't have to always push forward in a linear line. You can like be like, hey, dummy, figure it out for yourself. You know? Even games like Undertale, which are like lauded, like you have to figure out how to like get the different outcomes of the game, that kind of thing. Like you have to figure out like what to do. You can't just like walk through, or else you just get the one ending, and it's like, well, this is a lame-o ending for lame-os. Like,
yeah. Not to mention, there's also the fact that like Undertale is willing to put like some pretty hard stops to your progress. They're all like doable, but like like a lot of those boss fights will like legitimately make you stop for a good chunk of time.
Yeah. And then, after you're done flexing your skill muscle on the boss, you then have to flex your brain muscle to be like, what do I have to do to get the good ending? So it's like, I just like, it's a thought that I've been having recently, as I've been developing a bit more as an auteur.
As an auteur. And there's this a certain amount of like a balance that you kind of have to have.
Yeah.
Because like obviously I think a lot about like what would a better Pokemon game look like. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, if like my ideal like really good Pokemon game came out tomorrow, everyone would hate it. Because my idea of like the perfect Pokemon game would be, for the main story at least, it would be difficult enough to where it does actually make you stop and have to reassess.
Yeah.
But there's no way to do that, there's no way to do that without making a lot of people feel just like frustrated and like it's unfair because so many people already have this certain expectation when they're going into a Pokemon game.
You know what? There's two games I can think of right now that do exactly what you just said. The first one, which I recommended to you a while ago, and I don't know if you ever actually put time into it, Monster Sanctuary does that exactly. Where it's
still like, on my Steam wishlist. Wait, did I buy it the last time it was on sale? I might have bought it.
Where it's like you have to, at multiple points throughout the game, you have to like reassess your party and be like, who do I remove? Who do I add in? What do I catch to like make this work? That kind of thing. And it does a really good job at it. And especially like the shiny system is like built into the game where like shinies have special unique properties that you need to get. And like they aren't that rare. They're like a 1 in 40 or something. So it's not like, you can never find them. But
an endless log.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay, I really want like this shiny, or like you come across a random shiny of a mon and you're like, ooh, how can I fit that into my team? So it's like, it does it really well, I think, in Monster Sanctuary. The other game, I don't know if you've ever played it before. I know you probably know of it. It's the first Ni no Kuni.
Oh, I love Ni no Kuni. Okay. Oh god, I love that game. That game so much.
I remember like multiple times when I was playing through the game having to assemble my party with new like monsters, because it was like these just aren't working anymore. I have to do something new. So
yeah, or like if you did want to like really stick with like a couple of like specific ones, like you were gonna have to reassess your strategy and really work at it too. Man, I need to replay that game.
I was thinking about it too, because I own the second one as well, and I haven't played. I was like, I need to replay the first one. I feel like
yeah, I think I know the second one is really different. I never played it. I had a friend who was really into it for a while.
Creature collector, I don't think so.
Yeah, I've been meaning to replay the first Ni no Kuni, but I have not replayed it since my mom passed. So I'm a little worried that if I play it, I'll become an emotional wreck. So it's just kind of been like, yeah, I need to replay that, and then just haven't. But yeah, Ni no Kuni is one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, no, that's when you said like it makes you reassess your party. Like that's instantly Ni no Kuni came to my mind, because I remember like being like, I really like this mon, but like I need to like rework my party, and so I need to figure out how to like make this one work while having the other ones like come in. And I was like, I remember looking at like old like wiki guides and like IGN articles for like different.
Oh yeah, not to mention
like.
Also, probably my literal favorite thing about Ni no Kuni is that they have a big book you can read through in the game, which is without a doubt one of the best things that a video game can have.
Yep.
You've got a big diegetic book, sign me up.
Especially when it's like something that you'd go to a wiki for anyway, and they implement it in a way that's like you don't have to go to a wiki. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If a game can implement some kind of system where it's like you can, like, especially like creature collectors, for instance, where you can look up monsters based on their like affinities or like
like what type they are, like that kind of thing. That's
Yeah.
fucking fantastic, because that's what I'd be going to a wiki to look for anyway. Like, oh, what other monsters of this affinity can I find in the game? Like,
Yeah. It's like, especially because wikis have gotten so garbage over the past 2 years.
So true.
2-3 years.
Yeah, like there's like you have to have like a real diehard fans for a game to make it like not a garbage wiki, essentially.
Oh no, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that any fandom wiki is just been overrun by ads.
I'm saying like if you have like fans who don't really care, they're just gonna set up a fandom wiki and like throw in some shit and be like, yeah, whatever. But like if you have real fans that actually care, they're gonna set up the things like the Dark Souls wiki that are really good, or like
what about Extra Life?
Yikes! Or like the RuneScape wikis, which are both really good and they're not fandom, or like the there's another one that I was thinking of. D&D also has like a wiki that's really good. There's just like a couple that are like out there that are like very dedicated fans, essentially making them not fandom.
Yeah. It's really sad too, because my wife has been playing through Tales of Symphonia for the first time in like a long time. I think she like played through with one of her brothers a long time ago, but so she's having kind of like a fresh experience with it. And I've been playing with her too, and I went to look some stuff up on the Asalia wiki, which I used to spend a ton of time on. It was like fantastic, but you go on there now, and it's just like so many ads, and pages that used to be perfect are now like unreadable.
Yeah, fandom's kind of. It's like I forget what the principle is called, but the idea behind it is like the plague kind of idea, where it's like you don't know how far a plague has spread until it starts showing signs, where it's like people, everyone could have the plague at this moment, or like whatever it could be an extinction event for humanity, and then the switch flips and it starts killing us all, that kind of thing. Where it's like scary to think about, but put into the context of like this kind of thing, where it's like fandom. Everyone made like a fandom wiki back then because fandom was just so easy to do. It was so approachable. It was easy to make one, and now fandom has flipped the switch, and now every single fandom wiki is just fucking liquid ass because they flipped the switch and said, "Yep, put ads on everything and force it," and like, yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, it sucks. I hate
You wanna know
fandom wikis.
You wanna know how many single player unplayed games I have in my Steam?
1,405.
Ooh, close. 1,354. Close.
Darn it, I was so close. So close. Oh yeah, we got a little bit sidetracked, but like there's then like I also like very much know that like my ideal Pokemon game exists if I would go play some other creature collectors.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think you'd really enjoy some.
Yeah, and I know I would.
You give me Monster Crown, which was really fun when I played it. I liked a lot of stuff in Monster Crown.
Yeah, I still haven't played Monster Crown.
It's pretty generically Pokemon, I'll say, but the breeding system is really awesome. I really like it. Very cool.
And so it's like, I know that I would enjoy them, but also it's like part of it is like the problem I have that I know other people, like the problem people would have if my ideal Pokemon game was made, where it's like they have their expectation of Pokemon and therefore they can't enjoy it because it's making them think too much, and it comes off as frustrating as opposed to challenging. It's a similar thing where it's like, I don't want to go out and have to play other games. I just want my Pokemon games to be better.
It's also like one of those things where it's like Pokemon is kind of the Gucci of the creature collector world. Like, it's a very established brand. Anytime a new Pokemon comes out, it's like a new Pokemon. Like, It's not like Nexamon, where it's like, oh, who cares, Nexamon, funny little critters, you use them for your battles.
It's like nobody really cares if like a new Nexamon games comes out. Like nobody's talking about the competitive Nexamon scene. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah.
But Pokemon, they're the Gucci brand. They're the big bucks. So when a new Pokemon thing comes out, it's like, oh, that's great. I gotta get my Pokemon branded bag upcharged $100. You know?
Yeah. Nowadays, literally, with all the fashion brand
Yeah, quite literally.
collabs they have.
To be fair, some of those like the button-up shirts did look pretty nice.
Oh no, like the merch, Pokemon merch is actually like really good. I got a fantastic flannel last year around Halloween. It's like a purple flannel that like actually feels pretty substantial, and it's got like a bunch of like dose types on the back. It's like honestly really good.
Yeah, I'm a big sucker for designs that aren't just like a logo or a bunch of words. Like designs that are just like iconography from the media property on something that looks good. I'm a big fucking fan. So I think Pokemon does really good with
especially if there's like any degree of thought put into it.
Yeah.
Like I personally am a huge hater of graphic tees. I do not know why. At one point, like my second year in high school, I'm just like, I hate these and I will never wear one again. And I have almost entirely avoided that. The only reason I've worn a graphic tee within the last 7 years was because one of Alexa's family members got one for me as a Christmas present, and I had to wear it to not make her go ballistic.
I mean, I like graphic tees when they're for like I have a couple for like I have a Hollow Knight graphic tee, which is really nice, really well designed. Well, it's not even a graphic tee; it's like a mesh shirt almost. But and then I have a Fury graphic tee, which is really nice. Looks great. It's like a very small indie game that's like just like
I know about
a really nice shirt, and it's like, oh, nice. So it's like that kind of thing I'm a big fan for. But yeah, like normal graphic tees, and like if it's blank, a blank color, I'll wear it when I work out pretty much. Or like I'll wear it and I go out to my parents' house to eat dinner. But like it's the long and short of it.
Yeah. Pokemon, terrible lawsuit, but great
a little
merch.
distracted today.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing we had to talk about was Dunter. We talked a little bit about the end of Juju.
The literal middle finger to the audience.
So funny to me. I still have to write out my. Oh yeah, also my fan theory came true.
Mm-hmm.
The fight with the grasshopper curse was in fact a reference to the final battle of the series. I'm gonna say called that one. Still a little upset that my favorite character did not make it out alive, but you know what? It's just that kind of series.
One of 3 characters in that. Yeah.
Oh, to go back on that, one thing I did really like is that it did kind of... Well, I personally think they already did enough of this subtly that they didn't need the super blatant confirmation in the final chapter. But I do like that in the end, Gojo did beat Sukuna. Because it was ultimately, in the time leading up to the fight, he spent that time training and strengthening up the next generation in case he lost, instead of focusing on how to beat Sukuna and training himself up more. Like, I did really like that element of it. I think that last scene between him and Yuji was like a bit too on the nose about it, in my opinion, but also, like, it was just reinforcing what was already said before. So it's like, fine. But like that is the one element that I really like about it, is that like, you know, as much debate as there was about, whether or not Dojo could have or should have won that fight, is that ultimately he made the choice of, while he gave it his best, the preparation time was spent not on himself, but on his students.
Yep.
I do love Juju. I can't wait for the better Juju to get more chapters this month.
Speaking of better
Or is it
Juju,
next month?
One thing I did forget to mention is one thing I picked up on reading as well. The reread is we don't really see them front and center, but the queens are kind of make like a lot of movement in the background because we get like the queen's men's, which are like all different like guards that are dedicated to each queen that they can like dedicate to which princess quarter they want them to watch, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we see like we know like the first and second queen have an alliance, essentially, despite their children not liking each other a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So it's like we know, like we obviously know Oido, the eighth queen, but like and like some of the other queens we've seen a bit of, but it's like the queens have some interesting stuff, especially like the first and second one. I'm interested to see if they have some more stuff going on behind the scenes.
Man, just so many layers upon layers upon layers.
Like they literally have so much. Like the queens have like all this moving parts in the background where they're like moving guards around and that kind of thing. And it's like we don't even know what's happening with most of them. Like, like they're completely in the background. So
yeah,
it's interesting.
I think it'll be especially fun to dive back into it because like the last year of Juju has been all about like consolidating all those many layers into like one final spot.
Yes.
So it'll be nice to dive back into something that just like layers upon layers upon layers upon layers.
And one thing that I like about Hunter x Hunter that I think is different from Juju is that I think at the end that's not going to happen. Hunter x Hunter, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, no,
no shot that there's going to be like that kind of consolidation at the end of Hunter x Hunter. It's like it's going to be left largely open ended. We're going to have some kind of final confrontation with probably Gon and Gyro is probably going to be our final like end piece to the series, and it's just going to be like a kind of like that's the end. See you later. Like. And that's part of the reason.
No. What's going to happen is that there's going to be the final confrontation between Don and Gyro, and then he's going to go on hiatus. Or no, there's going to be the final confrontation. There's going to be 13 chapters setting up a new, really interesting arc, and then he goes on hiatus and it never finishes.
I mean, like that's realistically what's going to happen, though. Is it's just going to be like there's going to be that final confrontation, and then we're just going to have like I'm going to say like 10 chapters afterwards where it's just like we see some of our characters that we love doing stuff and then like the world just moves on and the story ends like and we don't need to see it anymore, and that's what I assume the Hunter x Hunter ending is going to be, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah,
because I mean even in the ending that he revealed, it was like the main point of it was like the world moved on and our four characters all had families and like lived their lives and they all had children and that kind of thing. So like, and it was like we didn't expressly see them like go and have families and that kind of thing, but it's like that's how it is. That's the world, and that's what makes Hunter x Hunter interesting, is because it feels like a fucking real world.
I think the funniest thing about that, if that ending did end up being the ending. So I know he said like this is the least controversial one. I hope that like as there's like that last like final like flash of like all the different characters and how they ended up, Karapika's would be him dead in a back alley.
The hint was, or the indication was that all of them had children. I think because Gon had the daughter that we like had the POV of that final chapter, and then like it said that like panned away and it showed somebody's son, somebody's daughter, and somebody's grandson, I think is what it said. So one of them had 2 generations. Yeah. which Hunter x Hunter protag do you think had 2 generations of kids? Which one is the most realistic?
I'd say Leorio, probably.
It has to be Leorio. Like, I feel like that's the one that makes the most sense. Then second place for me would be Killua, maybe.
Yeah. I know we'll probably never get it, but I would love to see like Killua being like the head of a healthy family unit.
Killua, like striving to have like an actual healthy family that he loves. Like that'd be fun to see. But who knows?
If only I was any good at writing fan fiction.
You could just be like the author of, what is it? The author of what is it? The author of we literally talked about this on our last stream. We talked about the series because I was talking about how good the manga is compared to the anime. What the fuck series is it?
Tokyo Ghoul.
Oh yeah.
The author of Tokyo Ghoul, who just wrote like a fucking Hisoka fanfic, and and they were like, "Yep, it's canon now."
I'm pretty sure that was him. Let me actually look it up.
Yeah, it was the author of Tokyo Ghoul, written and illustrated by him, and canonized by Togashi afterwards. It's recognized by Togashi, but may or may not be considered canon. But yeah, basically, he said, yeah.
Oh yeah, I love this.
He basically said, that's how I would have done it. That's basically what he said, so. Yeah. No. So you just do that. Do one of those.
Togashi, notice me, senpai, as I give you 300 pages of a fic of Kurapika dying in an alley.
It'd be like that one, like, horrible fucking hentai that gets brought up all the time, where the girl gets, like, fucking horribly tortured or whatever, and then the ending that somebody made that became like the canon ending, where it's fucking Jotaro heals her and saves her.
Honestly, so iconic.
It's literally like somebody made panels of him like healing her or something, and like the author came out and was like, "Yeah, this is like a canon ending now," or whatever. Like the most fucked up shit you'll ever see.
I love that.
It's so fucking funny.
Oh, speaking of JoJo's, I'm still chipping away through friggin' part 6 on a weekly basis because I haven't gone to reread enough of it in the fan translation to be comfortable with.
That's such a shame.
I know.
That they're only on
especially because
part 6, bro.
I know.
Because 7 is like the note, and then 8 is 8 is really good as well. So.
Yeah. So in terms of the, it looks like they only started doing part 6 this year. On the Shonen Jump app, it said chapter 109 came out January 2nd.
That's kind of insane.
Of this year. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, that being said, though, basically most of these chapters have been good. We're right in the middle of Pucci with his
That's all I have to say.
Anti-gravity stand.
Yeah, Pucci is what makes the part, is what I'll say, so. It's still stand by. There's never been a bad JoJo villain.
I agree. Of course, I'm a huge Jolene stan.
I don't hate Jolene. She's not the worst. That would be Joseph. Congrats. Joseph is the worst. He's the first one. You did it. You've accurately, you've correctly done your story in a way that the first part is the worst part. Congrats. Unfortunately, Dio is
do you
like
mean
one of the best
Jonathan?
villains in the series. So.
You mean Jonathan?
Jonathan, yeah, not Joseph. Yeah, Jonathan. Wait, all their fucking names are the same. Jonathan, Joseph,
Fair.
fucking Josuke. I meant Josuke earlier when I said Jotaro earlier when I was talking about the canon ending or whatever.
I knew what you meant. I just didn't feel like correcting you because you were still in the middle of the story.
What?
Oh, I knew what you meant when you had said
Yeah.
Jotaro, but I didn't want to correct you because you were still in the middle.
They're all the fucking same anyway. And then fucking Giorno and Jolene and
Yeah. Anyway, friendly reminder that any Joseph or any JoJo power scaling needs to contend with the fact that Joseph would win every time.
and then you get your other JoJos in the later parts. I won't spoil the names of them for you, but they're a little more memorable, is what I'll say. Partially
I am really excited
partially because Part 8 doesn't even have a fucking. It's fucking goofy as hell. Part 8's goofy. People hate on some Part 8 because like the ending's like really drawn out, but I think it's great.
I am excited to get to them eventually.
Yeah, no, I think Part 7's still the GOAT. So it's been my favorite thus far. Maybe on a reread, I'll be more fair to like Part 6 or something. But
Yeah.
But that's not happening until the series is over. Yeah, it's wild to me that we're on the final part and fucking English translation's not even
Freaking Viz is on. I know. I wonder why they're drip feeding it like that. I wonder if it's just the digital release or if it's like the whole thing. It would be wild to me if like Part 6 and 7 aren't translated at all.
Are you also? Is it also like colorless?
Yes.
Wow, it's shocking. They have official color releases. Like, yeah, that's shocking. Because usually what happens is like fans do like a colored version, and then they do like a colored release where they like actually do colored pages. At least in the Japanese version, and I've read both Part 7 and 8 fan translated full color. So the fact that you're reading Part 6 not the official translation in black and white is fucking funny to me. I don't know. It's like, come on.
To be fair, anytime I've ever seen a color page spread of JoJo, I've just been like, ew. Maybe that's just because I'm not used to it, but I think I'd rather it be in black and white, honestly.
I think Part 6 is probably... I really liked... the color of Part 6 specifically, because it had some like I very vividly in my mind Jotaro's outfit in Part 6 sticks out to me because I remember the coloring of it. Like, yeah, like specifically the pants I remember because of the coloring of them. The fucking
Fair.
I was like, that's always stuck out to me very specifically from Part 6. Yeah, no, I think like one of the I think it's fair enough if you're reading it in black and white, because I think like one of the things is like the colored mangas sometimes have different colors from like when they do the anime, and so like the official coloring's like different. But by and large, I'm pretty sure the colored stuff is like accurate.
Maybe I'll like reread the colored versions later.
They're really good.
puts in some perspective, like some stuff that like you wouldn't catch initially, I guess, like with your eye. You're like, oh, because there's color now, I can see like what the full spectrum of what's happening on the page. Color, believe it or not, humans adapted to color because it helps us identify things.
I don't know. It seems like a hard sell to me. Anyway, for the past little while, I have been doing the item printer. So we're gonna see how much money I've made.
It's also like it's one of those things where, what is it? The the Ghibli guy? What's the fuck's his name?
Hayao Miyazaki.
Miyazaki, yes. Where Miyazaki, people were like, "What?" Like the subs or dubs army were coming over to him, and we're like, "What?" Like language, like should we watch it in the official language, like as originally done, or should we like what should we do? And he was like, watch it in whatever language you're familiar with, because you can understand human emotions in your own language better than you can in another language. And it's like, damn, he's been facts.
Yeah,
straight facts. Now, unfortunately, the quality of dubs are not always the best.
Yeah. And in fact, sometimes if the original dub isn't that good, you won't even notice because you're watching it subbed.
Yep. But yeah, no, so I'm a big proponent of like, if I can get art as close to the human experience as I can while still allowing it to not trample on the original artist's vision, then I'll try to. So that's the idea.
I think, in my personal opinion, everything should be downscaled to 240p on the CRT if possible, even if you're reading a manga.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with style. There's nothing wrong with having style.
You're going to be honest, watching part 4 on a CRT is perfect.
But I mean,
it's just like, yeah, this feels right.
To be fair, that yeah, it is. that would be appropriate.
Haven't tried downscaling Echoes of Wisdom yet. Don't know how it'll translate, but we'll see.
Feels like it might be a bit of a mess because you just had the way the game plays, right? You can just
so the thing is, so honestly, the biggest worry is that if you're out in the overworld, it's kind of got that like 3D dot heroes effect, where it's like there's a lot of blurring at the edge of the screen. And so I'm worried about
that game because I was thinking about that recently. It's like, damn, I need to play some PS3 classics, and 3D dot heroes was on that list.
Oh yeah. Oh, I think about that game a lot. Every time I see anything about like those HD 2D games, it's like 3D dot heroes, baby. There, the first one.
Well, I was thinking about the recent release of Echoes of Wisdom, and I was like, damn, the style of obviously of that and like the Link's Awakening game reminds me a lot of 3D dot game heroes because it's very similar. Or it's like that 3D top down effect.
I never actually played it. My main reference is for a Let's Play by someone who half of them we don't like anymore.
Really? Was it Game of Grumps?
No, I thought we still liked the Game Grumps.
Well, Game Grumps, it's we don't like JonTron, but we still like the modern day game.
Oh no, we don't. Yeah.
Aaron is a little suspect in some places, but
Yeah, those are mostly just because he's an idiot, though. I watched I watched part of an hour-long video about re-examining the Ocarina of Time sequelitis. And it's like, let's take a look at this. How bad was it? Because it was by someone who back in the day had made fun of it a lot. I forgot.
I still love the dichotomy of people when they finally played Ocarina of Time, seeing how bad Aaron played the game, and people were like, wait a second. Wait a second.
Like, no wonder he doesn't like this game. He's just so bad. Also, I kind of forgot that Aaron throws out the R word in that. Just
he throws out a couple
like,
of slurs and a couple of occasions from past history, and that's all I'll say on him.
Like, dang, gamers were at a different place. Gamers were in a different place.
Yeah.
I mean, some gamers are still there.
Oh yeah, a lot of them. But it's one of those things
still
where it's
think
like
that some of the
if people haven't grown up out of it by this point, then you know they're a fucking shithead. So
yeah,
it's pretty simple. When even iDubbbz goes online and says like I should not have done what I like said the shit that I said when he was like the old like champion of I'm just trying to dilute the word, you know. Even when he comes online and says, "Yeah, maybe I was wrong."
Man, talk about a tool. That guy, me, right?
What the fuck did you just say? A tool, that guy, me, right?
Yep, that's the statement. I'm standing by it.
That was a statement, all right. No, but the fact that he came out and said like I'm sorry for like saying that shit for so many years and like I'm completely wrong about what I was thinking. And like was just made fun of on the internet for being like a cuck essentially for apologizing. That's the ultimate like gamers are still out there, you know. They're still out there.
Yeah, they're still out there.
So I don't like.
It's like it's one of those moments.
There you go.
It's like I'll see like a post or like a small like thing about how bad the Barbie movie was and some of its like takes and depictions.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, it's like, yeah, it's kind of right. And then I remember that like, oh yeah, we also have to defend it from like the dumbest chuds possible.
Well, it's like you can't like I can't say like I dislike The Last of Us 2 because I say that and people are like what the fuck you're a fucking sexist because everyone else who dislikes it online and won't shut the fuck up about it are people who are like actual pieces of shit. So it's like
yeah.
It's like it's part of the reason why I used to I think I mentioned this before on stream when we talked before, but I used to really like a sub called Gaming Circle Jerk where it's basically just making fun of like gamers but like being like jovial about it and like making jokes. And like one of my favorite posts of all time is like press release that you can now it has been revealed that you can press buttons in Red Dead Redemption 2 because it was making fun of how every time like a new feature from Red Dead Redemption 2 came out like everyone was freaking the fuck out like the horse can shit and like that kind of thing. So I was making fun of that.
But so can I. It's not that special.
And it was like jokes about like random shit like that. It used to basically be all that like 5 6 years ago. But now like anytime you go to that subreddit, it's like, look at this fucking bigot on Twitter being a fucking racist and hating on this game because there's a black person or a woman in it. And they have like 20 likes and like nobody would have seen the tweet if they didn't fucking like blow it up to this subreddit. And it's like, come on, man. Like
like, have you not learned this lesson yet? And then you remember that actually every lesson you learn on the internet, there are a million people that need to learn it and never will.
Yep. That one, what's that comic series called? XCD or whatever? XC something D? Where it's like the everyday 10,000 people learn the new thing. So if you learned a new thing, welcome, you're one of the 10,000. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's saddening to see like go on there and be like, oh, I wonder what's going on here, and it's just like posts of people being bigots, and it's like, come on, like you're just coming here to hate and like be like, obviously these people are fucking troglodytes, but like who cares? Anyway.
Sorry,
POV, the end of the stream has arrived.
Sorry about that. I know I don't have because I have the thing like stopping the peeking on OBS, but I do not have it on Discord.
There was a good amount of peeking. POV, Squalla opens the door. The spiders have found him. Like, anyway, I'm assuming
best net ability.
Assuming that's the end of stream. Dog barks.
It is actually the end of stream. Dog barks because Alexa gets off now. I should probably get dinner prep to get started on that.
So, good luck with that. Had a fun time talking to you.
Listen. I love carbonara so much. I probably shouldn't make it every week, but boy howdy.
Making it every week's not that bad of a thing. I thought you were going to say every day. I was like, okay, you're a little crazy for that one. Every week.
Every day I eat a pound of pasta and 4 eggs. A pound of bacon, a pound of pasta, and 4 eggs. We're not even going to talk about the Parmesan.
Well, we'll reconvene next
week. I know
sometime, I guess.
You're a friend of Italian food. Here's the question for you. What is your stance on Parmesan?
Parmigiani? It's really good in some foods. I'm a very big fan, but it's not a catch-all. That's what I'll say.
Oh no. So what I mean is like when it comes time for you to Parmesan, do you?
I usually don't
have the cheap bottle.
I'm not a big Parmesan head. If I do Parmesan, I just I get like the bottle or like and just like pump it out a little bit. But I'm usually not a Parmesan.
Okay.
head.
So you just get like the cheap like standard American container. You don't like keep the wedge or whatnot.
That or like the glass container where it has like the shit inside.
Okay, yeah. I'm for the past few years now, I have been still get the pre-graded, but get one of the nicer ones.
Yeah.
That's where I've been at for a few years.
I
was just curious.
Baked into some food is really good as well. So. Does a good job. I'm a
mostly,
fan.
Of course, mostly I just use it for. I just upend a whole container and do a carbonara every week, and that's mostly it.
Yerp. I hear that. Yerp.
Anyway,
see you
so for
next week
Knoxville
when we
Regionals,
can,
so for Knoxville's Regionals next year, you're gonna come stay with me so I can make you carbonara, and then we go to the Regionals, right?
What type of sauce do you do in your carbonara is the question?
It is just eggs and Parmesan and pepper. And then I use just the heat of the pasta to cook it, so I don't add like cream or anything.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had
I
a
do
carbonara
just
without
use
like fucking layers of red sauce.
Oh no! I just do the it's just like that, like custard adjacent, like Parmesan sauce.
Gotcha.
I don't do no cream or anything else like that. I don't go like as authentic Italian as to use like actual like a nice wedge of Parmesan cheese or like a fancy cured meat like pork jowl or something like that.
I'm not coming.
And listen. If you buy the nice pre-graded Parmesan, it is not that big a difference.
So you say, but that's
not
how my mama used to
the chat.
make.
Oh no,
My grandmama.
Ice cream. All right, time to ban that Italian guy for calling me a slur. That Italian guy for calling me a slur.
You goomba.
That one didn't call me a slur, but he's Italian, so he's out of here.
Yeah, but whenever next week you wanna team up, your Mondays are usually free, right?
It all depends.
Okay.
Because they've been messing up my my hours. I've been working mid shifts. You know me, the person who has been on 4 to 12:30s for over a year, but
Yeah,
I'm
you
on
told me
mid
about
shifts
this,
now,
yeah.
so yeah, it sucks. I truly hate it.
Well, whenever you're free next week, hit me up and we can spend 4 hours probably talking about one chapter. So
Honestly, I'm so there for it. I'm so excited, man. All right. Good luck on your job hunt.
Yeah, thank you.
Once
Good luck
I
on your job hunt.
Thank you. Once I'm done with this current project, because I'm hoping I get it to like a good, nice. I feel like screenshots of it are in a fairly showable state.
Mm-hmm.
I'll actually send you what I have so far, just because like I think that like
reminds me, I have a couple projects that I've been working on as well.
yeah, because like I think that like the screenshots are in a showable state. Where's my
I have a YouTube video I've been working on in the background, and I've been meaning to make a Paggigalo 2.0. Just kind of a little in Godot, since I've been working in Godot a little bit.
Okay. So here is for reference. Here is the original screenshot. So that's what I captured. That's scaled up as nicely as I can. Original hardware.
Oh, this is the original screen. I thought that
So
was I thought that was a website already.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
This is what the website looks like.
I mean, that does look pretty good.
Yeah.
Just
so
the
like,
I mean, that's pretty nice so far.
Yeah, and so far I've got it to where you can click on one of the Pokemon to bring up the block with that block of text.
Mm-hmm.
That also looks pretty good. So now I need to work on populating this entire list with the Pokemon from like that separate database, which is going to be a lot of typing as I have to put in all that stuff manually.
Yep.
That'd be a fun stream activity, actually, right? Like to just like type in all that stuff. That'd be a fun stream activity. But yeah, so I need to get that populated from the database as opposed to hard coding it. And then I need to be able to add where you click on one and it pops up there to actually make a team.
Mm-hmm.
And once I've got that done, I think I'll be done with this project and just have it in there. And so like once you have something built, if you want like a promo site for it, I will let me know and I'll have that be like my next like portfolio project.
Yeah, well, what about disjointed boarding saying best viewers? Do you see that in your chat?
No, I already closed out mine.
Shared, sad. Oh, you already closed your stream. I mean, it looks good. Why isn't did you? I'm assuming you took that Pokeball picture from the actual, the one that you used on the top.
Oh yeah. So
I was like, why did you have
so
the
the
shine
Pokeball
on the 1P,
picture.
but you do have it on the Pokeball picture. I was like, oh, he probably just took the image.
Yeah. So the Pokeball and all of the Pokemon are pictures that I took. The rest of it is all coded via HTML and CSS. Which, honestly, I know how to add the shine to the one-player bubble I recreated, but it's hard.
Well, that's
you
why,
gotta
that's why you add the
start
shine, and then when the employer asks you like, what's the hardest difficulty you had making this project, you point to that little shine and say like that right there. They'll know you're a true website developer.
Right there.
You're a true website developer.
You're right. I need to do that.
That looks good.
Yeah, like I said, like I feel like I could probably like I don't know how to package it though, but I feel like I could put like this screenshot on some of my resumes and be like, yeah, I can build stuff in HTML.
You have to add the CRT filter though,
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, that'll be like the real selling point of the website is that it'll have a little box in the corner that looks like a CRT. You click it, and then it's like.
That looks good. I'm excited to see it in its finished product.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I also have to have it hosted so people can actually go to.
True. I fucking hate hosting shit. One thing I learned from college. As much as I hate web development, it's doable. I hate web hosting a million times more than web development itself. Holy.
Yeah. Really wish I'd gone for my bachelor's. I feel like I'd have such an easier time right now, but also I paid out of pocket, so that would be a lot of extra money.
Hey, speaking from someone else who paid out of pocket and got their bachelor's, doesn't seem to be helping me.
Good point. Alrighty, I love you, man. I gotta get cooking.
Yeah, love ya. See ya next
Bye.
week sometime.
Yeah, see you next week. I will let you know when I have my schedule.
Yeah.
Alright, peace.
Bye. Alright, that was a good stream. Had some fun there. Basically did nothing in Pokemon the whole time. I'm sorry if anybody came for my killer Pokemon gameplay. But yeah. Yeah, next week we'll talk more shop on Hunter x Hunter. And I don't know if I'm gonna actually like make like a graphic so we can just talk about it. I might do that, to be honest, instead of me being in Pokemon next week. But we'll see. For now, though, I'm done with Pokemon. I'm done with Pokemon. Patooey. Yeah, and I'm done with the stream. Thanks for watching. I don't know what's been going on with my bitrate stuff. I hope it didn't look shitty on stream. If it did, oh well, I didn't drop any frames. It's just the bitrate like going wild like the whole time. So I have no idea what that is. I'm assuming it's something to do with my internet and not something I can really fix on my end, because I tried to fix it and it doesn't seem to really do much. So yeah, I just assume it's something with the internet or Twitch or whatever. Thanks for watching though, and I appreciate you stopping by. But for now, that's not what I meant to do. But for now, I want to shut off the thing real quick before I swap over, just so I can be lazy. I'm about to come back to this later. Hello? Hello? Okay, there we go. That was weird. The button wasn't working at first. I had to release it and repress it for it to work. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Stream's over. Okay, I'm not gonna. Even if I do end up coming back to streaming a bit more, which I could see myself doing, considering I have been out of a job for so long. If I do come back to streaming somewhere, I don't think I'm going to change this stream over screen, because I like it. It looks good. Looks like ass, but it's ass in a way that befits me. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got the Twitter logo still. And we got the YouTube logo, despite the fact that I have a different YouTube channel now. I don't even know if I search up. Hold on, let me search up. Search up Paggigalo YouTube. I get Kyle's videos from way back when. That's funny. And I get my archive, and I get my actual channel after that a little bit. Let's see. So I released a video before I end off the stream. I just want to take a look at this real quick. So I released a video of me and my friend doing Slayer kind of showdown, where it's an OSRS challenge where we both do get a Slayer task from each of the Slayer masters, and we can only use stuff that we get from them to fight each other in the wilderness. And so I was like, what basically I was like, what words escaped me? I was like, I want to edit this thing, so I put together this thing. It took me around, like, I want to say 2 weeks of actual time to edit, maybe not even that long. And I released it, and it got like 45 views, and I'm pretty happy with it. Let me actually swap to that account so I can actually take a look at it. Because, as you know, I have two different accounts. One is my main YouTube channel, one's my archive now, which is my old channel. Just because I had all my streams uploaded to the old channel, and I didn't want to, like, move it to put all the new content there. But it has 45 views now. My most viewed video is 200 on my M&M's video, which is still wild to me. But if I look a little bit more at the analytics, I want to see. Watch time 5 hours. It's an hour-long video, meaning 5 people actually watched the full video. And it earned me a subscriber. It earned me 2 subscribers because someone unsubscribed. Huh. Weird. Ugh, I had 5 people. Who the fuck unsubscribed? But traffic sources direct or unknown, 50%, which means I believe that includes Discord. No, externals down there, so I don't even know what the direct or unknown. Traffic from direct URL entry, bookmarks, and unidentified apps. So maybe Discord. Which I link there, and I'm sure some people watch. But 28.6% from suggested videos. And that's kind of what I wanted to highlight by talking about this here, is I got 190 impressions. According to YouTube, 81.6% from YouTube recommending your content. Huh? How is YouTube so good at this compared to like Twitch? Like I just sat in this Twitch stream this whole time, got no viewers, got this one random dude showed up who advertised a website, a scam website, to try to sell me like bot viewers. Cory in the other chat got one of his real life people that he knew to show up, and that's it. Both of us streaming for 3.5, 4 hours. No discoverability, no nothing. When YouTube has 81.6% of the impressions that I've gotten in the last 20 days, 190 views on all my videos. 81.6% of those views are from YouTube recommending your content on the watch page or the home page. That's fucking insane. Genuinely insane. That means 190 people. That doesn't mean 190 people clicked, because I have a 1.6 click-through rate, which means 1.6% of people actually clicked on my video, which boils down to 3 people. But 3 people watched my videos because YouTube recommended it to almost 200 people over the last 20 days. What the fuck? That's wild. It's just wild to me that YouTube's so much better at this than Twitch. I guarantee you I've never been suggested to 190 people on Twitch in my life. The whole lifetime I've been streaming on Twitch, which is years. I guarantee you I haven't been recommended to 190 people, and I have 150 followers. I guarantee you. I have more followers on Twitch than I do on YouTube, which is that's the opposite. You're supposed to have more on YouTube. Yeah, I guarantee you I've been recommended less on Twitch than I have on YouTube. The reason why I have so many followers on Twitch is because I reached out and was in Twitch communities for a while with other streamers and like contacted them and say, hey, I wanted to go for affiliate. And they helped me out. It's not because of myself. It's not because of like recommendations. So it's just wild to me. Anyway, like I said, I have projects I want to work on, a game, and a video for YouTube. I'm starting off a series that I am kind of interested in, but unfortunately my headphones broke. I didn't mention that this whole time. My headphones broke, so I can only hear in the left ear for right now. And I have no money, like I said, so my birthday's coming up soon. Hopefully somebody gives me some money so I can buy some headphones. So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. My birthday is money so I can buy new headphones, because my right side of my headphones broke. So I can hopefully actually do the series. It takes place in a game called Skyrim, and being able to hear all around me would help out greatly. So yeah, anyway, that's it for me. I am done with the stream for today. I kind of wanted to stream this week a game that I have because like I said, I have a lot of games on Steam that I haven't played. And I was just looking through some of them, and I kind of clocked one. It was a short game, and I was like, you know what? I want to do like a short little stream where I play this. So expect a stream this week where I play that.
I don't know if Assassin's Creed 3 is ever coming back. I kind of reached my goal in Assassin's Creed 3 where I got the sea shanty that I wanted, Drunken Sailor, and a lot of real life stuff happened, and I'm using the excuse of me getting that sea shanty as the excuse to never play that game again. So I don't know if that's actually going to be true or if I'm going to go back and play it, but we'll see. But yeah, that's for me. Except to stream later this week when I can. And until then, bye.